Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A happy Friday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. Iwanyk with you here, an empty chair of Tom Gazzola because he had to finish his donut, so he decided to leave the room right as we're starting the show. Perfect timing. Broadcasting pro right there. EST Glue Guy, Jay Milne with us, and Dan Grummett joining us once again. I don't know what Tommy's doing.
He was really into that. It was an apple fritter, just for context, and those aren't as simple as a ringed donut. This requires a little bit more care and attention and detail. So I instead of showing up on camera and the first thing you see was him stuffing his face with all this,
But that's all we do.
sugary goodness on his hands and face. I don't know. I still don't know
We
because he
just
was
ate
really
a
close.
massive pizza on Monday on air.
He was really close to being done. So I think now this is a bit egregious.
No, now he's just talking to Gage and Eric.
He wanted to figure it out off camera, is what happened.
And so, like, I don't know, like, it just now looks weird that we're missing one guy.
You could have had him in as a surprise guest here.
He could have
too,
kept the mic back where it is right now and just sat there and ate.
Well,
I guess.
let us know in the nasty chat what you think Tom is actually doing at this moment. Because he's not eating that donut.
Well, he's not
anymore.
having a good start to his morning because he made a coffee at home and he's complaining that his cups taste like dishwater.
He didn't rinse it out.
Yeah.
Well enough.
And he's going, it tastes like the soap from here. And he's like, well,
Whose fault is that?
how hard is it to wash your mug?
Yeah, exactly.
He needs a drying rack, proper drying rack, I think.
Or he just needs to...
Oh,
rinse
hey,
it a little.
Tom.
Oh, look who decided to show up for the show.
There he is.
Look at Tom Gazzola. Are you going to drink the coffee here? Or are you going to head out to have
No,
your
I didn't want
sips?
to eat in front of people. That was a delicious fritter that was fresh, so I didn't want to eat in front of... I apologize. Good morning.
So he has manners, I guess.
I guess. It's good. It's good.
I heard you guys chirping me. It's all
Good
good.
bedside manner.
I earned
Once you're not here, it's fair game.
It's game over,
It's just
yeah.
like when Belzy this week didn't show up on time,
right?
and we just ripped him, and it was awesome. Even Mac T was ripping
Mac T
him.
was all over him.
That was awesome.
He was great.
Yeah.
He was fantastic, and I honestly
stories.
didn't even know he was part of that brawl. Out and
Yeah.
like no idea. Jack Cookson from Pro Am sent me the video after. Mac T has a helmet on.
What?
In
Yes.
1979, 80, right? That was the year.
As you see the brawl, like you could see, there's McTavish, there's the helmet. You can see him climb into the stands.
Because Mac T was a college guy.
That was Boston Rangers.
Yes, at MSG.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's the one where Mike Milbury took the guy's shoe and
yeah.
was beating him.
It's so emasculating.
Yeah.
Yeah, we think things have gotten crazier, and then you see videos like that, and you're like, okay, no, that wouldn't happen today, I don't think. Then again, it kind of happened in the NBA
Yeah.
Malice in the
about 10
Palace.
years ago, right?
Oh, that was like 04.
Was it? Oh
It's
my
been
God.
that long now.
Whoa.
Or like it was.
That was insane.
That's been 20 years.
It's a long time since Malice in the Palace.
But
Wow.
you're right, Grummy, because I was watching, for whatever reason on YouTube, algorithms, all that stuff.
November 04.
Damn.
Holy.
November 19th of this year, we're celebrating.
20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Okay.
The documentary on it's great. But just really quickly, like the USSR versus the WHA Canadian team came up, and it was a game in Vancouver, and the guys like doing the stick swinging. You hear about guys with the stick swinging incidents. They would do that. They would grab their stick and they would like put it in the other guy's face. And I was just like, damn, these guys were nuts.
Which is why, like, the Pietrangelo slash last year seemed so out of character for
Right.
this day and age. You know, like it was probably, if you're watching the video you referenced, all over the place, or more common.
Yeah, it was every scrum, like if a guy was getting too close, like a Canadian guy would just get the stick in his face and just kind of like
Like
threat-
make contact?
You would get it like right.
Or was it
by
like the
his
Sean
face.
Avery kind of?
No, it wasn't like that. It was like if you don't, I'm gonna smack you in the head with my stick.
Wow.
And they'd turn the blade over and everything. But yeah, anyway, Malice at the Palace.
Crazy time.
That was a crazy time.
Ron Artest, when he was Ron Artest, not Meta World Peace,
What a beautiful
who
name.
was a key reason why the Lakers won over the Celtics in 2010 when we won another title.
No, you guys were
Our
great.
Lakers.
You played so well.
I did. I was really involved in that game. This is The Hang. We're live on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, as well as live on YouTube. We got the EST keyword, EST Flyaway keyword coming up before 10 o'clock today. I've got some things to do at 10 o'clock, a meeting, which I'm hoping I can then announce something for EST
Very
afterwards.
exciting.
So,
Ooh, like today?
well, I don't think I could announce it today. Like, I'd wait till next week. But, like, we've been sitting on something for a while, but I don't know if it's, like, we could go public with it yet. And in this call, hopefully I'll be able to get it done. But it was scheduled at 10 o'clock, and I was like, oh, that's not great. But, okay, I guess I got to go and do this
Hey,
call.
you're not the COO of EST for no reason.
Heyo. But it is super exciting. We can't give away too much, but
It's
And you,
related
and
to
you
the
have
6
to
o'clock.
get it now.
Oh, it's
Oh, no, it's
yeah.
done.
It's done.
Yeah,
It's
it's done.
done.
But I
It's
just don't know
done.
when we can start saying it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Like, that's the thing. Like, this thing of
Right on.
told it's done. It's related to the 6 o'clock or logger.
Okay.
But I'm
Which
now
I
just
saw
waiting
is
for
Direction.
$13. Direction.
You're waiting for direction.
$12.99 playoff promotion starting yesterday. Sobeys and Safeway liquor until June 30th. I'll say it. It's going to be a long Oiler playoff run. You could get the 6 o'clock or logger. Things open up very mightily for the Edmonton Oilers.
wow, what a night. That was wild.
Kings or the Golden Knights are scared of the Edmonton Oilers. They would rather go through the Central than play the Edmonton Oilers.
I
That's
saw
what
your
it felt
hashtag.
like watching. It felt like that watching both games for a time until LA seemingly tried to score at the end.
Oh my goodness, Grummy!
know?
Like we're doing post game, and I'm like, well, the Kings are up 3-1. Oh, they're only up 3-2. Oh, it's 3-3. Oh my goodness, they're down 4-3
Yeah.
to Chicago, and then they tie it on that power play, like you said, and 6 seconds of OT over.
I'd come to terms with playing Vegas as a fan. You know, I was ready.
Yeah.
Mentally, I was like, I'm actually excited to see this series now.
For 15 minutes of your life, you're like, all right, here we go, Golden Knights round one.
Well, I even just thought for the past week that that's how it was going to end up because I think the odds
Yeah.
were right.
Well, once the Wild took down the Kings, you're
Yes.
like, well, the Golden Knights have got the Ducks and the Blackhawks.
Right.
They're not going to screw this up.
That's what, yeah.
And they screwed it up.
They totally pooched it. If you're a Golden Knights fan, are you worried?
More worried,
More worried.
I would think. Dallas has got to be considered. Like, who's a worse opponent for them, Dallas or Edmonton? Probably Dallas, right?
Yeah.
So
Think.
I would say that I think the entire Central should be worried because now before it was you had a nice even split always.
Yeah.
If you had Vancouver, Edmonton, and Vegas on the one side, you have Dallas, Colorado, Winnipeg on the other side. Like even Macty, I'll defer to him on this one. We could take Preds and Kings out of coming through the West.
Yeah.
It's a nice even split. Both whoever gets to the Western Conference Finals, they'll have both been battle tested, but the same level. Now, Dallas, Vegas are going to have to beat up on each other. You got the Jets, Avs beating up on each other. Then the winner beating up on each other.
Yep.
And then you got to face Canucks or Oilers potentially. And if you're the Oilers, Canucks, like I do think the Canucks are open for an upset potentially here, but let's go with those other two teams. Don't believe they'll go far.
Right.
You just have to play each other. You've got that one less series potentially of big heavyweight bout.
Right. The fear has subsided somewhat.
I would believe that Dallas is a team that could roll. Like there's no weaknesses, but now they're gonna have to get beat up through 2 rounds before getting to a Western Conference Finals. And are they able to get through that to get to a Stanley Cup? I think the entire Central should be upset yesterday with what happened to the Golden Knights and what the Blackhawks did because you've now tipped things in favor of the Pacific over the Central.
with the Oilers, do you guys think that there's any risk of like, I don't know, opponent fatigue or something
I don't
when it
know.
comes to round one?
Hernan Salas believes that.
Yeah.
Hernan thinks it's going to be very tough to beat the same team 3 years in a row.
It has happened before. It has happened before, and not just like in the 80s when the Oilers beat the Jets 6 straight times, but Dallas would whoop the Oilers year after, I think it was 4 years in a row after the 97 upset. There's been some other ones. So I think we all look at the Kings and go, not again. And I was just texting with our Kings insider, Dennis Bernstein, and he goes, as if it wasn't meant to be. I'm like, all right, DV, all good. But you know what, Grummy? If you're thinking you're a serious contender, it's got to be all business, and you don't care what jersey the opponent's wearing. It's just you beat them. And I think maybe this is the time the Oilers have finally figured that out and some maturity has stuck.
Well, you could argue that this is like the best iteration of the three Oilers teams to face the Kings.
Yeah.
And would you also argue that maybe apart from year one where they took them to 7, like this is well, they were banged up last year, to be fair, the Kings. But like, is this the easiest matchup with the Kings the Oilers have had on paper? You got the switch of maybe down the middle, the Kings are the best they've been.
Yeah.
They have less depth, and their D might be I don't know, right? Like,
Well, just go to
how do you
goaltending.
see it? And the
Like,
Like, I think you start right there.
Yeah.
You've
My
got Talbot
goodness.
and Rittich. Does
Yeah.
that scare you if you're the Edmonton Oilers?
It should.
In a
Still
7-game
respect it.
series. Absolutely. Are the Kings
Right.
going to get a couple wins in this series?
Probably.
But you tell look what the Blackhawks did to them last night in the third period. Was it 3 goals in 5 minutes or whatever it
It
was?
was insane.
The Oilers, with the manpower that they have, you're not going to be able to score goals. Gager on 2 guys yesterday brought up the game against the Kings December 30th this year, where the Kings owned the first period or up 2-0. The Oilers just slowly clawed their way back 2-2, in a shootout. I'm not afraid of the Kings from the Oilers, especially with the goalies that they have, and I want to respect them, but
Respect them. Yeah.
it's not something where I'm going, they're going to steal a series here. A best of 7. If this was a best of 3, maybe a little something. If we were in those type of days, but a best of 7, I don't see how the Oilers lose 4 games to Talbot and Rittich in net.
Yeah.
Well, and if you look at the teams comparatively, kind of like Dan, what you were saying, from last year to this year, the Oilers have significantly improved in a lot of areas with just growth, right? And I think adding, we're not even thinking about now. We have a guy like Corey Perry on our, on the Oilers
Jay.
side. Sorry,
Jay.
Tom. Slap my wrist. Adam Henrique, right? These are 2 established playoff players. I'm pretty sure in some place, in some form, in a lot of these professional athletes, there is a flip that you can, switch and say, okay, now it's a different game. So Oilers fans haven't even seen that side of Corey Perry and Adam Henrique, right? They're starting to see what Ekholm can really do in these tighter games and these, finishing out the season. So I think that the Oilers are definitely on another level than where they have been, and goaltending is probably where that starts. There's a foundation in net now, although it didn't seem that way for the first period of last night's game. But there is somebody that in Stu Skinner that I think, Tommy, would you agree that could be a goalie that could take the Oilers on a bit of a run?
Stu Skinner, I have no problems with him. I mean, the last 5 or 6 Stanley Cup champions, like outside of Vasilevsky, which one of those goalies do you look at and go, damn, that is a bona fide superstar?
Right.
Right? Like, was Kemper? No.
Not consistently.
Was Matt Murray? No. He's barely in the league. I know he's had injury issues, but Jordan Bennington can be.
But there's never, again, it's not that consistent.
It's exactly.
Right.
We're not seeing that Vasilevsky of you're lasting as that top goalie for
Yeah.
7, 8, 9 years.
Yeah.
It's you're great for 2 years. Even Aiden Hill, we'll see what happens with the injury. He was great for the last calendar year. If you look at his calendar, it was really good.
Yep.
But is he gonna be able to keep that going moving forward?
Wow.
He didn't look great last night.
No, exactly.
Coming
So
back from
yes,
his injury.
Jay,
Yeah.
to your point, I think Stu Skinner, if he's better than what he was last year, which was not particularly great, then I think they have a fighting chance.
Now, Matt, when I came in here, you seemed to have a little bit of a pep in your step, you could say. You were a little bit elated, and the first thing you said is, "Great, now we can go. The Oilers can get to the Western Conference finals."
Okay. Well,
Explain what you meant by
This is
that.
the Hangout headlines presented by the Ranch Golf and Country Club, offering premier conditions, top-notch service, unmatched value. The Ranch Golf Club would be your great choice for your first round of the season if you haven't been yet. If you have been, it's just a great choice to go all year, anytime. Great conditions. Book your tee time by visiting theranchgolf.com. If you power rank the Pacific Division, who's the best team? And I understand that the Canucks beat the Oilers 4 times this year. I still like the Oilers in a best-of-7 series. I like them in a series against the Kings, as I've already just talked about with Talbot and Rittich and that.
Yep.
I don't think they're losing. To me, you score 2 goals and the Kings aren't coming back. You get up, they're not scoring goals. 3 goals, to me, it's almost a certainty that you're going to win that hockey game. The Oilers own the Predators. as good as Saros can be, the Oilers own the Predators, and Leon Draisaitl owns the Predators. So to me, it's
That's
there.
assuming the Predators are going to get past.
But even at the Canucks,
The Canucks.
like it's
The Canucks own the Oilers.
Yeah.
in the 1 year.
Yeah.
The Oilers Preds goes for a number of years.
Sure.
Oilers Kings playoffs is the last couple of years. This is, let's see how this goes this year. And to me, we're in the playoffs now. I don't care about anything that happened in the last 82 games. I said that before this season started. I don't care. Get me to this point, because now it's a brand new season. Everything starts from zero. And I will take what the Oilers have offensively. And if Stuart Skinner could play better than he could that last year, which last year was okay, he needs to be average. He's average goalie last year. They win the cup. Maybe this year needs to be kind of good. And they're going to do very well. So I think when I power rank the Pacific, it goes Oilers, Canucks, Preds, Kings. It's theirs to get to the Western Conference Final.
Wow.
Whereas if they took on the Golden Knights, I would sit here today saying the Golden Knights are knocking off the Oilers.
Yeah, that would have been definitely. I think the Oilers would be in higher risk of losing in the first round if they face Vegas. But was there anything to be said? And now, the reason I was like, okay, we're playing Vegas. You know what? That's a good thing, because if they can beat them, they are going to feel so goddamn good about themselves that they're just going to cruise after that. If they beat LA for a third straight year, I guess does that matter? Do you guys think where if
Yes.
your first round opponent, you slay the beast in the case of the Golden Knights, and now you are just, and that's kind of what I was thinking as a fan would be good for the team. And now that's gone.
Now, to the contrary, you could also say, okay, we slayed the beast. And then
That
you
can
relax.
happen.
Yeah,
right?
because that happened with
where you let
Toronto.
the foot off the gas.
The
And
beast
you're like,
being the first round win, right?
Right.
we got past the Vegas Knights. Yay, pat on the back. And then you go lay
Yeah.
an egg against
Yeah.
whoever's up next, right? You know what? The way it is set, I do agree. I think Oilers fans thought that they would prefer to have the Knights because of just what you said, Grummy. Let's get this over with. Let's battle this out. But now that the Oilers have the Kings, I don't really think anybody's complaining, saying, "Oh gosh, I wish
think
we
people
had
were
the Knights."
convincing themselves they wanted the Golden
Yes.
Knights.
They were, because
I think
it
that's
was.
Yeah.
and
We had to.
I'm doing
Yeah.
the same thing as a Laker fan right now. We're getting the Nuggets starting tomorrow, and I'm good. You want to? We got to beat them at some point. Let's do it in the first
Right.
round, because if I get knocked out, we're done. Darvin Ham can get fired. Otherwise, we're gonna carry this to the title.
Yeah.
I feel like Oilers fans just resigned themselves to the fact, and they were trying to convince themselves that we're
Saw a lot of that.
we're taking on the
text
Golden
line.
Knights. Yeah, bring it on. You want to know something? Bring it on.
Well,
We
what
got
else
them.
are you gonna say? What else are you gonna
But
say
that's-
as a
that
fan,
is a
right?
good
I'd rather have
It
the
is a
Kings.
good
And I hope the
attitude.
Kings
Yeah.
can find a way to best the
You know
Golden
what, though?
Knights,
Last
but no
year-
one wanted to do that.
Last year at this time, it was like, oh crap, we might have to face
Yeah.
the Knights.
Yeah.
That's a tough bat. But this year, it was bring them on.
Yep.
So
Cass
at least
reiterated
you
that.
can tell by you guys see the text lines and the inbox and all this. There is an air of not arrogance, but confidence, quiet confidence that Oilers fans have taken on, and which should show you a bit about the feeling of this team compared to years prior, as if to say, been there, done that, learned the lessons. Connor's playing at a level that
Yeah.
he's never played
He's
at,
done something that hasn't been done in 30-something
right?
years.
And that's, come on, let's just be honest here. That's who the Oilers are hitching their wagon to. That's who Edmonton's hitching their wagon to.
Sure.
The Oilers go as far as Connor takes them, you could say. So there is. I feel there's a much stronger feeling of confidence heading into this than any playoff series, that we've witnessed since the Connor era.
I like that who cares attitude, who the Oilers play, and I think Edmonton, the team, has that. Cass reiterated it yesterday on the post-game show. It doesn't matter. Like, Kings, Golden Knights, Canucks, whoever they face, Dallas maybe at some point, you just have to focus on beating them. All you're chasing is the big trophy at the end. Go, beat them. You're a good team. Leon Draisaitl said it the other day. He's like, we've beaten all these teams before. We've proven we could beat them. He acknowledged that they've lost to these teams too, so anything can happen. But yeah, if you're going, these guys are hard to play against. They always give us a hard time. That's like a loser mentality. I think of it that way. Whereas no, okay, who do we have? All right, This team has good goaltending, big defense, and their forwards can kill you if you're not sharp. Be strong in the neutral zone. I know that we could beat them this way, this way, this way. Think of solutions, positive vibes, and you could go and take care of the task at hand. And so I think that is where the mentality has shifted. And the fact that it seems like the fan base is kind of taken that mentality as well is kind of new, because usually we would talk going into playoff runs of years past, even last year, the fear of certain opponents. And we're going to hear that as we get ready for the game in the next few days here for game one. But it doesn't seem overall that sentiment's the same, both from the fan base and the team when you talk to the players.
There was that fear, I feel like, in 2 years ago as we prepared to face Colorado, because it was just like, you saw them, and it was just like, oh, Jesus,
Yeah, it looked like that on the ice too, right?
Yeah, and it was, right?
Yeah.
But, yeah, to your point, I think they don't... there's no opponent now, at least for the path that's created, that should give them any worry, I would think.
The tools are there. You've experienced the hardships. You've learned what it takes to win a Stanley Cup 2 years in a row because the team that went on to win it beat you. So, like, there should be an eye-opener for these guys, and they have a better roster, more experience. Yes, they're the oldest team on average right now, but I think...
That's fine in the playoffs,
yeah,
I think.
but once next year comes around, there's going to be obviously roster movement, but they're in a good place. They're in a good place, and yes, the attitude seems to have shifted, and I think that's a good thing. Do not disregard your opponent. Go in there and focus on the task at hand, and I think that is a recipe for success.
A bit speculative, but what do you think some of the players, do you think they were sitting in the locker room or like on the bus waiting to go to the airport in Denver, looking at the phone?
Yep.
Maybe even
Guaranteed.
watching the
Yeah,
games?
100%.
Guaranteed they were.
Are we, were they literally thinking, I don't care what happens in these games?
Probably. Grummy and, having been around, yes. They probably were watching because it was very convenient. Basically, as soon as they were done and about to
It was
fly
staggered
out,
nicely.
Yeah.
it was right there for them, and they're probably sitting there going, holy crap, oh my God, what did Vegas just do? And then they're watching LA and Chicago going, well, I guess it's Vegas. And then all of a sudden the comeback and the win is like, oh, whatever, it's LA.
Yeah.
They probably were just fans at that point, and I'm sure they can be fanboys of the game just like we are. And I probably think in that moment they were in that type of mindset, and then they go, all right, well, time to face the Kings. Let's go.
And I believe that they don't care who they play, but they probably look at this and go, this is the easier of the paths. There's no real easy path in Stanley Cup playoffs. Let's be real on that. But this is the easier of the two paths. And
You
I'm
don't
sure
think they
look at
care who they play?
No, I agree.
No,
I think the confidence level is bring on, if they had to face Dallas in the first round, they'd be okay, fine, we could go beat them in a 7. That you believe in yourself enough that it's whatever. We will take on anyone and we will go beat anyone. We're that good.
Yeah, but you're
Now-
still looking at matchups, and you're still looking
absolutely.
at...
And I think like I said, there's a little bit of, okay, this one's the easier one for us of the two. But really, I think if it was in the end, if the Kings don't score against the Blackhawks, I think they sit there and say, bring it. Let's go. We've got this.
Well, regardless, whichever game they watched, or if they were tuning in to both of those games, they were probably feeling pretty confident about either of the opponent after watching last night's debacles.
If we're going to focus specifically on that, though,
point.
the Oilers have lost 4 of 5,
They
though.
did get their asses kicked again.
Yeah.
I don't think they could really be like, because how much did the Golden Knights actually put into that game?
Well, they rested four guys.
Well,
right?
it's like, do you really and it's a weird one because it's, do you really want to face the Oilers? Or are they in a situation where they don't care? So just get through this, get healthy, make sure you're healthy, all of that for the playoffs. And they really did they really want to go win that game? Not did they want to go? Did they care if they won that game? I guess is the thing.
No.
Just like the Oilers didn't care if they won yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, Colorado on the flip side, going into last night before they absolutely spanked Edmonton or parts of Edmonton, 3-5 and what was it? 3-5-2 in their last 10, so they were kind of limping in as well, and maybe that's
3-5-2.
3-5-2 in their last 10.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, they were struggling.
And
They were playing great.
on like a 5-game losing streak, right?
Yeah, they were. They had one win in the last 5 or something like that.
Yeah.
They were not playing particularly well, and so Bednar dresses the whole damn lineup, and they just spanked. Some of Edmonton's
Well, they played hard in
AHL.
the first, then
Yeah, they took the
Then
game, and
it's
that
done.
was it. But it's not like the Avalanche were just in cruise control, having win after win in their last 10, 11 games. It was a bit of a struggle for them. They got who beat them really good? Winnipeg spanked them 7-0. And there's probably people. I asked Ryan Bolding from NHL.com. People are worried about the Winnipeg matchup, and there's a little bit of hesitance there because the Jets swept the season series and they put a friggin' stamp on the end of it with the 7-0 win over the Avs. So I saw like friends in Winnipeg and our peers that are working out in Winnipeg saying like, "Oh, Winnipeg's got the mental advantage over Colorado this year." I think that can be completely thrown away as soon as Game 1 kicks in because the Avalanche are the Avalanche. Winnipeg hasn't really won anything.
Yeah.
Say the regular season doesn't matter.
Well, they're the hottest team, Winnipeg, right? Out of any playoff team, I think. What did they won, like 7 in a row?
Yeah,
Something
before
like
that, Grummy, they were in the
They were
toilet.
struggling hard.
They were swirling, man. Like, yeah.
Did you guys think that the Skinner start last night matters at all? Like, did these, I think the rest is more important. I guess maybe it's a blessing he got, the hook after 20. I mean, you'd rather him not get lit up, I guess, but he didn't have any help.
But when you play that lineup, what do you expect?
Yeah.
And then the Avs are playing that lineup.
And the goals that were allowed, like, I don't think Patrick Waugh in his heyday wasn't saving those. It's like,
I'll go back to the
tic-tac-toe,
oil
it's
stream
in.
from 2 days ago. I didn't understand why they went Skinner this game and Pickett the first game. I would have flipped them. I would have had, if you want Skinner to get that one more game before playoffs, I would have done it when you're playing your players. And then I would have had Pickard in that last game because, okay, whatever. If he gets lit up, he gets lit up. I don't believe Skinner is going to get his confidence rocked in any way, shape, or form after that game yesterday. Because I don't think he's making that extra move to make that extra save or whatever. Like, if he has to make that extra stretch to get something that he would in a regular season, he's not doing that last night, though.
No.
Like, it's like, I'm not making that. Go in the net, I don't care. But what if?
Doesn't it really?
What if his confidence got a little shook in last night? Like,
then
there is.
I'd say
I'm not going to
need
say
a session with a
sure, but I'm not going to
sports
say that
psychologist.
100%. Like, it couldn't have impacted him going into the playoffs. That it's impossible. Like, when you get shelled that much, what if, right? Like, there's a small, and that's where I would have just flipped it. When you're playing your, like, why would you put your starting goalie in that lineup when you're resting all these other guys and knowing then you're going to get shelled? Like, why would you do that to him for that?
Okay, but what if it did the exact opposite? It made him realize, holy smokes, I got a wagon in front of me. When they're not in, look what happens. But maybe it says, okay, now the boys are back together. Now it's time to start playoffs. I'm looking forward to that. Get me back to that. Maybe this was all a test. Maybe this was planned where they knew he was going to get shelled.
Or maybe he goes then, oh yeah, the other boys come in and I don't need to do as much because they're there.
That's right.
And he goes, he
Hopefully
plays
not.
less.
Positive.
No, the negative way of that.
No,
Oh, the
it's
boys
okay.
are in. I don't need to play as hard because he's got it.
I don't think that's...
Maybe they thought he'd
that
face
really
like a lot
works.
of rubber, but not
Get
the
shelled for
highest
5.
quality of grade A chances that he saw in the first 8 minutes last night or whatever it was before it was 4-0. But
I think the benefit of all of it, though, is Pickard comes in relief. And he gets another experience of that. Because what if you need to do that during the playoffs?
Yeah.
Now, Pickard's got that experience again. Recently, like, if that's one way you could look at it in a positive way, that if you're having a game where it wasn't going well in the playoffs, whenever it is, Pickard's got the experience again of recently of coming in mid-game and having to get used to that. That's what you want out of a backup, I
It
guess.
sure makes you realize, though, pretty clearly that all those players that were dressed for the Oilers last night, they're all NHL players. They're in the NHL. You swap out, 5 guys sitting in the press box and have 5 guys that are NHL players playing.
Well, 7.
7? The
The
level,
7 top scorers weren't in the lineup last night.
the level
5
of
forwards, 2 defensemen.
discrepancy from Fogo to still NHL players, but not your, top 7 guys is crazy to
Jay,
think.
we saw the decade of darkness. The city doesn't need the reminder of what that's like.
The best line yesterday in the text, I think it was a few people, and I think Mo even said it when he came down to Hudson's White Ave, was, boy, that lineup looks like a decade of darkness lineup. And I was like, yeah, it kind of does. Ugh.
Crazy.
Henrique 1C, right? Fogel first left winger, right?
You're like, oh.
Power play unit was something else
Hey, look at that.
from what we're fully
Jack's
used
like,
to.
the unit's going to look a little different tonight. Yeah, no kidding.
This is the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. There's always someone looking to ride the next wave. They're here for the ones who make their own White Claw. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Dan Grummett, Jay Milne, Tom Gazzola with you here. Lucas texts in to the Parish Jewelers inbox 780-218-9999. It is that Lucas.
Okay.
Hey, Dan, it's your old neighbor's Kurt's birthday today.
Oh, no way.
So, Lucas throwing that one.
Of course,
in there.
Lucas
Happy
would
birthday,
remember.
Kurt. It's been a long, long time. Thanks for reminding me,
He was in
Lucas.
town just a couple of weekends ago, or a couple months ago. He was at the show that we went with Whale and the Wolf.
Ah,
Our buddy, so.
what a night.
It was a good night.
That was a great night. Always,
EST Flyaway keyword coming up in probably about 10 minutes or so here. What are you going to say?
always bet gray.
He won on the ponies.
Oh, the
betting
horses.
great.
Yeah, you taught Trev how to play.
Yeah.
And you guys
That's probably
won.
why he's not at work all the time now. Stuck,
He's gonna
chasing
be-
the
gambling,
ponies.
chasing
here?
the ponies.
He will be.
Oh, yeah.
He's somewhere in there because we're doing some tasting today.
Yeah, we are. The Birdie juice.
Yeah.
Grummy.
Yeah, I came on a good day.
Yeah, you did. Schmitty stopping by. The labels. We saw a few sneak peeks at the potential finalists for the labels.
Yeah, today's the deadline to get a label in
Yeah.
for our Birdie Juice. We're partnering up with Strathcona Spirits, Mickey Bottle, vodka. We're going to do our tasting today of it.
I think
And-
Hascap is the berry.
Well,
House caps, yeah.
we will
It was
find
like-
out. And
You don't
if you
want
want
me
a
to give that
label,
away.
business at edmontonsportstalk.com. Yeah, you could send that in to get in there.
Totally ruined it.
Underrated berry, the house cap.
I've never had it. It's a blackberry blueberry fusion, right?
I don't know. It's.
Do you actually know about it?
Yeah, I did a
Okay.
story when I was with CTV about a guy just like.
An hour north.
Yes.
That's
That's your
who's gonna
guy?
be our supplier.
that's the
Oh
supplier.
no, way, he was
yeah.
a super nice guy. I can't remember his name. I did I probably helped him, achieve the fame he now has. But
Maybe there's
This is all coming full
Yeah,
circle.
this
It's
is
really
a bit of
yeah,
Grummett
no, I
in
went
this-
out to his
in this
farm in
universe.
yes,
Yeah.
north of Edmonton. You're right. What is his name?
I have it, but he's an Austin O'Brien grad,
Really?
AOB.
like
Okay.
us. Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's
Didn't know
see.
that.
I have his
Yeah,
name.
he's a really cool story. Like how he started the whole thing.
Andrew
Okay. Yeah.
Rosenchuk.
Okay. Yeah.
Rosenchuk.
Yep.
I'm a Ukrainian,
Inflection's
or
wrong.
not Ukrainian. I'm Italian Polak.
You can tell.
Like, relax.
Jeez. dog.
But they're a tasty berry. I don't know if they're somewhere. I can't remember the description. If they're somewhere between a Saskatoon and a blueberry or something like that. But
Is
yeah,
it
it's
tasty awesome?
Yeah, it is.
That's all that matters.
Oh, exactly.
So we're gonna taste things
Saskatoon's
later.
an underrated berry. It's
Yeah,
a delicious
have to agree.
berry.
As a former Saskatoonian,
You're a Saskatoon berry, just like Eric.
I guess so. Yeah, I got to get the swag.
He's got the hat, the
I
ball
know.
cap. It's
yeah,
awesome.
I know.
And Lucas has the best idea for them to have a promo shirt.
What?
And I told this to Norman at Combine and his whole family yesterday. Lucas says they need to get just a white shirt and have blueberry stains all over it. Like, that's what the look is. And then you just put, like, the logo on the back. Who wouldn't want that?
Well,
It's like you've
anybody
eaten
that
a
didn't
bunch
get
of
it.
Saskatoon berries. You just got it all on your shirt. That's how you do
Walk
it.
around looking like a slob. Yeah.
Exactly.
Brilliant.
You'd fit at the game. I wish they were. I don't think they're coming through town.
They're in a different league, right?
Well, they play the Prospects.
Oh, the prospects. Is that ballpark getting going? Do we know?
Yes.
All right, that's good.
I've heard
The
that
one in
they're.
Spruce Grove.
Yes. I heard that the shovels are in the ground and they're building it.
Nice.
But
Well, that's
the
good.
Prospects will be playing in St. Albert this year. Or not St. Albert, Sherwood Park.
Sherwood Park. Okay.
Do the Berries come to town?
Sherwood Park, where?
They have a nice
Let
facility.
me see if I
out
can
there,
find it
don't
while
they?
I'm looking.
Like Centennial Park? Probably. It's got to be Centennial
Yes.
Yeah,
Park.
you would know.
Yeah.
Their home games will be played out at Diamond number 9 at Centennial Park.
Yeah.
Glad it's not 8 or 5.
You don't want
Big
5.
on 9.
Oh,
Yeah.
9's the only one. We all know that.
That's the spot.
Hey, we were talking earlier about teams that might scare Oilers fans. Does Dallas scare? Like Dallas, I think Dallas could be I think they're a bit of a favorite to get out of the Western Conference.
Yeah, they are.
Like
Dallas.
they are rolling.
Yes.
They seemingly have owned the Oilers.
Edmonton
Recently.
does put up a good fight against them.
They do, but I
Here-
think Dallas has the edge.
Right, but here's where I'm worried about Dallas. Is just how tough that Central is.
Because they're on that
They now
side.
start with Vegas.
Sure, that's
They're
a
going
great
to
point.
go after each other. They're going to, Vegas is, we can knock Vegas all we want, say they haven't been looking good in the playoffs, but if Petrangelo's there, Mark Stone comes back, if Aiden Hill could get back to being Aiden Hill from before injury this year, I'm not even going to go playoffs last year, just before injury this year, that's a tough team. That's a team we would all sit here and be like, they could go win the Stanley Cup. And you got to start your playoffs with that. You don't get the Preds, you don't get the Kings, you get the Golden Knights. And then, oh yeah, by the way, after that, you get Jets and you get the Avs. One of those two. And then after that, potentially the Edmonton,
or Vancouver Canucks.
or the Vancouver Canucks. But if it ended up being Kings going over there, I would think that, yeah, the Stars are the team that I'd be most scared of and would put as my favorite to come out of the West. But now I sit there and go, are they going to have it in them to do this for 4 straight rounds?
Well, that's last year's West Final, right? Like
Yeah.
Dallas, Vegas. I think I often forget about the emotion. Like we're all associated with the emotion of the Oilers series.
Yeah.
But imagine I have no sense of the emotion that went into the Dallas Vegas series in the West Final last year, and you got to believe that's on the minds of the Dallas players, big time.
Should be. Yeah, and the roster, the Dallas Stars, whenever they falter, I don't think of it, and maybe this is on me for not like really dialing it in and putting a spotlight on them myself, but it seems like whenever they falter, it is because of their own undoing or own reluctance to put in the work. It's not like you can look at the Stars and go, well, I'll tell you why they lost, because their second and third pairing sucks on the back end. They can't get the puck out of their zone. They don't check in front of their net. It's never that. It's, boy, why did Dallas lose to Columbus? Well, they didn't show up. It's always something that they do to themselves. They shoot themselves.
Mental, maybe more than
it could be. I don't know if it's
82
overconfidence.
games is a long season.
It is a long season.
There's going to be those
things do
days you're
happen,
going to have a
but-
game where you're just like, I'm not there.
But it's never like, when we look at Edmonton, because it's the team we cover, we go, wow, they're flawed. Bottom six at the start of the year, they're not great. Or the defense, if it has a bad night, look out, the goalies are left hung out to dry. So with Dallas, you look at that lineup and you're like, that's a good line, that's a good line, that's a good line. Fourth line's veteran NHLers. That's a really solid forward group. Defense, okay, what do we got? Great pairing at the top, really good pairing middle, pretty solid pairing on the third pair. Oh, yeah, and their seventh defenseman's half decent. Who's in net? Well, Wedgwood's the backup, and he can be good in a pinch, but their starter is Ottinger, who's like this boy wonder that is unbeatable at times. Like, well, Jesus, that is a good team. And why'd they lose? Well, they didn't show up, it seems like.
Do you think it matters? Like, one reason Dallas scares me a lot is because so many of the players that make up that great lineup that you just talked about were drafted Dallas Stars. Do you think that matters so much that you come up in the organization? Like, they just seem to all, don't they have like 5 or 6 draft picks like in the lineup on any given night?
Yeah, but Edmonton does too. I was looking at that last week at the game. So Dallas, you've got Ben, obviously, Faxa. You've got Delandria, who's like their 13th forward. Johnston. That's everybody made a big deal about Johnston when the Dallas Stars rolled through Edmonton.
Robertson,
Jason Robertson, that was a great pick. Ottinger, obviously.
Lindell.
Essa Lindell and Heiskanen. So we're at 8 already. So yeah, there's some homegrown there, but then they've also added some great people, like Duchesne, and then adding Tanev. Those were excellent ads, and I know Duchesne got bought out by Nashville, but he's had a great resurgence. Joe Pavelski, who knew Joe Pavelski at like 39 would still be humming the way he does, getting sticks on pucks? Like they've hit on their free agents as well and their trades, and then so you do need that like homegrown, but Edmonton does have it too. I was looking at that for whatever reason last week, Grummy. I was like, I think somebody made a comment. The Oilers and their drafting sucks, and I was like,
Well, I think it's that they don't have any
maybe,
picks.
but like
Scanner, Nurse.
They don't have any
David
picks from the
Dryden.
Holland era, right? Was the big criticism floating around
And
online,
that's fine,
right?
but-
in the lineup, unless Holloway's playing or something, right? So
yeah,
yeah,
Bouchard's
but
a
does that
pick.
matter? I guess.
If we're just looking at it as
I've got
at face
6.
value, well,
Well, you got the top 3.
Desharnais
So 7.
is one of their picks.
Because you got the top 3 forwards and McDavid, Dryden.
I counted 9 when I was at the game last
Nurse,
week.
Bouchard, Desharnais, Skinner.
And they're like pre-2019 picks.
Yeah.
But picks nonetheless.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I didn't go Ken Holland era or
Yeah.
prior regime or anything like that. It's just who's an Oilers draft pick, and
No, I just don't know how like a Stanley Cup champion, like what percentage of a champion's roster is like, drafted by that organization, if that ever makes a
It's a great question.
A big good stat to look into.
It would be interesting to see, the past, let's say 10. So you have a good handful to look at to see if there's any trends that might stick out to say the teams that went and, sold out at trade deadline to get traded players into here and bump some of their drafted players down the lineup, or is it just like you say, that homegrown talent? You counted 9?
I had 9 last week.
Does
We're
that
at 7
count
right there.
Holloway?
Yes.
Oh, I forgot about Holloway.
Yeah.
Okay. I wouldn't count Broberg.
You can't. I mean,
Why
he's
would-
not a regular.
He's not a regular.
Yeah,
no,
so I don't have
I
Broberg
wouldn't
in
count
there.
him either.
Holloway, I
Sam
think you
Gagne
could.
doesn't count.
No, I'm not counting Gagne either. I'm just.
But I think we're at 8 right there. So I think we're missing somebody. Why you keep looking?
Oh,
at
McDavid.
I had him.
You did?
Yeah, I had the top 3.
Oh, okay.
McDavid,
Two.
Draisaitl, Nuge. I had them in there. Let's get to the keyword for the EST Flyaway to Las Vegas. I really screwed up the
McLeod.
keyword this morning. I had Garoppolo.
Yeah, that was great, by the way. Well
really?
done.
Well, he's gone.
You could have just put Jimmy G.
No, I don't care about that. He's gone. He's not a Raider
He's
anymore.
not Vegas anymore.
He
I started
screams
this
Vegas.
contest and he was still there, and then on the 13th he got released, signed with the Rams, and then today Eric read, I'm like, damn, he's not a Raider anymore, and I didn't change
Not
that
to
one.
mention the spelling of it.
Dad, I don't care. Deal with it. You want to win a trip to Vegas? Learn how to spell Garoppolo. You got 5 minutes to Google it and copy and paste it into the chat or into the inbox. The keyword today for the EST Flyaway, it's U2. Spell that one. U2. Not hard. They had their residency at Sphere.
YOUTWO.
Don't mess with people here, Tommy.
man.
U2, the band, texted 780-218-99.
Trolling.
99,
UTOO.
2 non-stop flights, 3 nights accommodations, tickets to Cirque, thanks to our partners, the LVCVA and Flyaway. Non-stop flights to over 50 destinations. Your sports trip starts with a non-stop flight from Flyaway. Visit flywayg.com for more information. Zach Tecum or Trev will give someone a call in the next couple of minutes. We'll talk to you on the air. Hopefully, it didn't work yesterday. I didn't have time to fix it this morning. So hopefully we can talk to
So
somebody.
what are the
We'll give
odds
it a
that it's
try.
actually going to work today?
Based on what I know is when it doesn't work, I need to do some things to change it. So I'll go 50-50.
All right.
I'll take those odds.
So you're saying there's a chance.
YouTube, 780-218-9999, Paris Jewelers inbox if you want to get in for the keyword. We're giving this away next week. There's no
Yes.
keyword next week by now. We've already given it away a week from now. So
I can't wait, man. It's been a fun contest, and good luck to everyone out there. Also, the Sphere, they had Phish playing there. I know U2 was the big kickoff at
they
the
had
Sphere.
the initial residency. Now they're out, I
And
think.
it looked awesome. They had a little square stage, and
Yeah,
obviously
yeah.
that floor. Maddie, you were there, so you have a
Everybody
better
saw that
perspective.
U2 stage with the smoke blowing above it, right?
It was neat.
little.
But they pushed Phish back to the wall essentially of the base of the Sphere, and the part in front of it was like a monster dance floor, and then it was packed.
Cool.
And I know Phish is like an iconic band, but I don't understand their why is everyone so gung ho about Phish?
It's the Sphere.
No, it's not.
think?
Fish people are, and it's PHISH.
Yes.
Right? Fish.
Is it like
PH.
Grateful Dead kind of
That's
thing?
what I was just going to say. It's like these deadheads that are like diehards. I don't know that if I know a Fish song.
I don't.
Me neither.
And I mean, I know a Grateful Dead song or two, but there are like, and it's weird. It is
Yeah.
so weird. Like for Fish to do a show at the Sphere, after a band like, and I'm not saying U2 is the greatest band of all time by any
They're
means.
huge, though.
They're
huge.
huge.
They're a
They're a
global
good sell.
band.
Yeah.
Right? They are a
Just
global
don't put
band.
your songs on my phone without me knowing.
That was the worst.
That was iPhone.
Okay,
That was
so-
Apple's thing.
Phish, their number one song on Spotify, most streamed, is Farmhouse with only 25 million streams. That's very low.
For a
Oh yeah, Farmhouse.
Well,
right, that old ditty.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
no.
Never
don't know
heard
that
of
at
it.
all.
Would,
No idea.
would Eric even know that one?
What the heck is
Eric's got to know that.
like?
would.
But even you said Grateful Dead.
Yeah.
Play Grateful Dead's number one
We'll know that
Spotify
one.
song. You may
Maybe
not.
they're so niche though that you can justify
Well,
charging
Grateful,
exorbitant amounts of money.
Grateful Dead's
Couple
number one
hundred.
song is 108 million streams
Let's hear it.
versus 25 million. So I don't want to put it too close.
Which one's this?
Friend of the Devil.
I don't know.
Got me.
That's your good, yeah.
Casey Jones is its next most streamed.
Like I don't know. The drugs
No.
must have been really good back then
Yeah.
because
I don't mind the start of this.
I
one.
don't.
Oh, I know this one.
Oh yeah,
Casey
that's right.
Jones?
Yeah,
Yeah, I know that
we
one.
know that one. Sure.
Okay.
But this Fish thing,
That's,
Yeah.
that
odd
is
choice.
just blowing my mind.
Right?
I feel like
I've heard Fish from, American podcasts and people that are like massive Fish fans, and then you get the deadheads.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's just because we're Canadian, right? Maybe it is truly an American thing.
when you said fish, I actually thought you meant they had like a small aquarium in the sphere, what they projected onto the
You
screen.
can do anything there. They need to do movies. I swear. Seeing a couple movies there would be unbelievable.
But you said you saw the
they do
Call from Earth or whatever it was.
Postcard from Earth,
Postcard
which is
from
just
Earth.
the way it's like the start of Earth and a bunch of different things. It's a little bit of planet Earth type thing there. It was really cool. But like watching that, I was like, yeah, I want to see Interstellar. Like that's the movie that just kept coming through my mind. Watching Interstellar in this would be just absolutely insane.
Isn't that getting re-released?
Yes.
in theaters?
VR says, and it was nice to see him last night.
Yeah, great to see him. He gave me a vape charger.
Well, you got asked for another one.
I got asked for another one.
That was the one time I was able to stop that one a little bit.
Thank you.
Because I was
Yeah,
like, he's on the
beautiful.
air, and she's like, oh, sorry, and I walked away.
Yeah.
And then I missed when they both came up.
that was Brienne. I met her yesterday, and she was there with her girlfriend Katie, who is a listener.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, and Katie came and said hi, and then Brianne's like, "Oh my God, she's fangirling," and I was like, "This is great." And she was like, "I listened to you guys at the old station." I'm like, "This is awesome." But they were having a great Thursday. They were well into one.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I just saw her come up with the vape charger. I'm like, do you have one? And
Thank
she's
you.
Like, no.
What's the,
on the air.
what's the vape? What's the vape?
Oh, the first on location show at Hudson's.
White.
I was on White. I was on the air, literally on the air
With Jay.
and this.
Well, let me set it up.
You
a bit.
set it up.
Tommy, I came there just to see how things were going. It was
Yeah.
the first one, internet good, done, and I just stopped in after I was done work, and I think it was a late start. And Tom had a day.
It was a day.
It was a day. He was doing a lot of things, and you could tell that he was a little stressed out, and
was
I believe you're having your mac and cheese and eating it quite ambitiously, I would say.
delicious.
And he says, "Oh, good, Jay, you're here. Thanks." He's like, "You're gonna have to hop on with me," and I'm like, "Okay." So I just called my wife and I said, "Hey, Tommy wants me to stick around, so I'll be home in a little bit." Okay, so we're on the post game show and it's going well. The Oilers lost in St. Louis that night.
Yeah,
that
they got
was that.
murdered.
They got murdered. It was
Yeah.
the shell. You know what it was. Yeah. And so the nasty chat's great. Everybody's doing good, and it was getting. It was a Thursday night, I believe, and it was loud in there,
Yeah.
and there were a lot of people having a lot of 6 o'clock loggers. So this one group who was sitting just down from us, they're on their way out, and this fellow comes up, and we're clearly on air.
You got the lights
are
on,
on and
everything.
we had headphones on and not looking around. And this guy comes right up to Tommy because he was close to him. He's like, "Hey, so you guys got a vape charger back there?" And Tom, you could just see the look in his eyes, the redness in his face just reach a new hue. And he was like, "Dude," he's like, "We're on air." And he's
I gave him this. So like, get out of here.
Shoot him.
And I felt bad.
And then I think his emotions got the best of him, and he went off on a little bit of a vape charge tirade. So now that is why
It's not just an inside joke for sure.
listeners like
if
VR.
you ever see Tommy on location on the air, make sure to go ask
Make
for
sure
a vape
you
charger.
either you offer him a vape or bring a vape
I
charger.
will not hit the vape.
So that was a really good one, VR. But it was
Yeah.
nice to see you. But what I was getting at was he said that Phish fans are called Phish heads. So we got dead heads and Phish heads.
Fish heads.
Original. Yeah, good.
Yeah, right. Like, I mean, it just gets even more confusing.
Does Jimmy Buffett fall into this Fish Grateful Dead thing? Because I
I
never
think
really
so. I think
understood
it's that kind of like that early '80s, like kind of maybe late '70s, early '80s vibe. I'm getting.
It's like drug,
post-hippie.
it's like drug music.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
acid
Moody
era.
blues, right?
Yeah. That's why I said
There's
like the
bands-
drugs must have been like awesome because these now 70-year-olds or 60-year-olds that maybe aren't doing as much acid as they did back then are still experiencing the same highs they did while on acid when they listen to Phish
So it just
or
evens
Grateful
out.
Dead. It just brings your levels up.
But it was packed at the Sphere when I saw the video from their first Phish show there.
Of course it would.
Because I think part of it too is a chance to go see the Sphere.
The Sphere, okay.
I think as it's opening and for the first year, you're gonna like a lot of people will be there and be like, "I'll go to see whatever" because I just want to go see this Sphere.
It does look really cool. The draft is going to be there for the NHL. which
Okay,
is neat.
okay.
The
In on
last draft
nasty
that they
chat.
have of Centrally, right?
Yes, correct.
Jesse Young in on the nasty chat says, I have friends that have been to over 100 Phish shows.
Whoa.
They're a jam band that pivots on the fly with their sets.
What was his name?
They'll go off on wild solos and riffs that differ from show to show. According to my friends, it's a different experience every show. It has everything to do with fanfare. The Sphere is just the icing on the cake.
Oh.
So it sounds like they're a
should give
very
it a try.
inclusive band. I think I might have become a Phish head today.
Uh-oh.
Andrew's our qualifier for today.
All
Having
right.
some issues with the phone
go,
call, so
Andrew.
could get him on. But Andrew's our qualifier for the EST of Flyaway, as we want to send you to Vegas. Next chance to qualify during the lock shop. Huss will give out the keyword. I will speak to someone on the air, and then Tommy and I have the last one for this. This today. The last one for this week will be Hello Hockey. Tomorrow, the last one for Hello Hockey for this qualifying. But yeah, like I said, last chance for your qualifying, or your next chance to qualify for the EST Flyaway today. Coming up in the lock shop. I'm going to step out. Zacticum's going to slide in for a little bit, and this is the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer, Tom Gazzola, EST Glue Guy Jay Milne, Dan Grummett. Matt Iwanyk just stepping out for a little bit. Zacticum taking over here.
Have
You
a
guys take
fun
over.
meeting,
Good
man.
luck,
Have a
man.
great meeting, COO. Coo. You go do cool things. With the White Claw.
Oh, we will.
Making sure the chair doesn't fart when I sit down.
Hey, Zach, I'm Dan.
Boy.
Dan, nice to meet you.
Nice
Yeah,
to meet you. Congrats on the new gig.
the new gig. Yeah, man, I'm loving it. The boys are great here, great mentors. Fans of them for a long time. So now being a part of them is something great.
I'm guessing based on your name that were you here for a practicum that now has become.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah,
The name
I'm still
doesn't
on
change,
practicum.
though.
no, it shouldn't.
He's still
No.
Zach to come. Rick the Temp was Rick the Temp for 30 years for crying out loud. Yeah.
Unless there's some,
No.
other nicknames.
No,
if,
no. It's like nicknames don't just happen. Like,
Yeah.
like they can't be stated. They can't be renamed. Once
Yeah.
you're pinned as Zacticum, you're Zacticum.
Yeah.
So
It
on
is-
that for
Hey, I think it's a great name. It
I loved it too.
You know, in 10, 15 years when you're still here, people will wonder, was he like kind of a robotic guy maybe? Or like, was he like Zacticum? But no, it's Zacticum because you were here on his practicum.
No, it's not even my nickname. It's just my real name.
I think you should change your ID.
Go to the registry and get it changed.
Get
your
a
license
tattoo
plate.
of it. Like,
Registry's right across the street.
I mean, it's very well possible I could do it. But Dusty made the name first week I was here, and he was like Zach on practicum, Zacticum. So it kind of stuck that way. And
He
I
is
loved
good.
it. I
He's
love
good
those
at those
puns and
things.
stuff. So
Okay, speaking of names, if you owned an NHL franchise and just bought the Arizona Coyotes and someone said, well, what are you going to call your team? You go, I don't really know if I'm going to commit to a team name going into year one.
No.
What would you think of that?
Did that just happen? Is
They're
that
not going to
breaking.
commit to it for the first season.
Ryan Smith and his wife, I believe her name's Ashley, they had the announcement with the NHL yesterday. Today, by the way, there's going to be a press conference with Gary Bettman and
These
Alex
are the
Morel.
Utah Jazz owners,
This
right?
is the Utah Jazz owners, and they were asked about the name, and he's like, I don't know. Maybe he's throwing up a smoke screen, but he's like, I don't know if we really need to rush into a name and branding and all of that. So we'll see how it goes. Like, could you imagine a team? And I know the PWHL just goes by Toronto, Montreal, Ottawa, and all that, but like, could you imagine just going by Utah?
Well, you could do
HC?
like the Washington Football Club, right? When they
Yeah,
were in
they-
hiatus
yeah,
in
but-
between, you could go Utah Hockey Club.
That's
They
like an
patented it,
option.
right?
They patented. There was also Fury, Venom,
Blizzard.
and then Hockey Club and HC.
Blizzard's probably the best of that bunch, but I don't know.
well,
Do they get
when you think
blizzards?
about it, yeah,
They do,
right?
yeah. They get those crazy storms and like
Okay.
through Montana down to Idaho, and
I don't know.
What about the Utah Summit?
that's not bad.
That's not
Ter-
terrible.
That
at
just
all.
came to me.
I like that name
send it
actually.
in.
Should I trademark? Can you trademark it?
Sure.
for
I
us?
can do that for
Right
you.
now, right now.
Yeah,
Zacticum.
but like,
Come up. Yeah, I got
do you know how
that.
to do
but
these
we're
things?
talking about an NHL. Like I know, and see in those instances where we had to see the Washington Football Club, like
Is Washington football team WFT, which I'm a diehard fan.
yeah, that's right.
Washington football team is 10 times better than the commies, than
Well,
the
that
Commanders.
was
The
whoever-
Commanders is a disgrace.
That's brutal.
Yeah.
right? The Washington football team was kind of cool. Actually, it was kind of a throwback to when, the teams were just like the Chicago football team or, Washington. It was great. And you could still use your, but the Commanders, I digress, but it was
I
just
agree.
brutal.
I agree.
That
I
was
think,
a bad choice.
Yeah.
Hey, do you want to hear something? Do I hear
Of course.
So, Mark Rippon, legendary, what was a Washington Redskin.
Yeah.
Won the Super Bowl, I believe it was in 91. He was the Super Bowl winning MVP quarterback for the Redskins at the time. He's actually a dual citizenship. He's born in Calgary. So, early last school year, my middle daughter, who's in grade 4, she's telling me about classmates, and one of the boys in her class, his last name is Rippin. I'm like, that's funny. Like, how do you spell it? Well, Rypien. I said, oh, wow. And I'm starting to think, I'm like, what are the odds, right? So I said, ask him tomorrow if anybody in his family ever played in the NFL. So she comes back and she says, yeah, his grandfather played quarterback for your team. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is Mark Rippin's grandson is here. So the family's here. Like it's kind of scattered all over, but some of his family's here. So of course, in my head, I'm like, okay, I'm getting a Mark Rippin jersey. So bought a Mark Rippin jersey. Yeah, and I'd already, through a channel of friends, we don't really know each other, but through some hockey friends, neighbors of ours, they all play hockey together. They said, oh yeah, like they're going down there in the spring to visit Mark. So get a jersey and he'd love to sign. Like he'd love to sign it. Yeah. Like he's, how many A, Redskins fans are there, and B, Mark Rippin fans, right? Mm-hmm. So get the jersey, send it down, and then I was away last weekend, but this is going to be really bad for audio side of things, but my buddy sends me this picture.
That's great. And
Mark Rippin signing my jersey.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was that old, but yeah, I guess
that's
a great photo.
Isn't it? So the jersey came back. I'm going to get it framed, put in the basement, like made
2J.
Yeah, 2J.
I love I'm not a big jersey guy, but I have Struddy's New York Islanders reverse retro, which I'm very proud of. I have it framed up in my office. And then I also have a Matt Hendricks signed jersey. I have a Louis DeBrusque one, but I like the personal messages, and I only get jerseys like from people I know. But and when you get that,
it says 2J.
Yeah.
Hail to the Redskins. Mark Rippin, Super Bowl winning quarterback MVP.
That's pretty cool.
Any idea how the Edmonton connection?
Well, I don't know. So Mark Rippin's, I don't know if it's his son or I think it might be his son. Brett Rippin played for the LA Chargers. Or LA Rams.
Right.
He was a quarterback that kind of floated around the league. So he's there, but I think there's a connection through how he grew up, was born in Canada, that somebody's still here.
That's cool.
Because where's he in that photo?
Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. He has a great tan in that picture.
Looks great.
Yeah, he does.
So that's sweet. Mark Rippin and the Rippin family, you made me so happy. It is something I will cherish. And
as you should.
I think if you're getting a jersey and you have the chance to, and I mean, yes, if you're a collector and you want to potentially resell something like this, to have it say your name on it is not what you're supposed to do. But I would never sell any of this stuff that I have. It's all means something to me. So 2J is great. I have the same thing in my basement. Glenn Hall.
Cool.
Yeah.
He's still around.
He's out by Stony Plain. Yeah. He is friends with my wife's best friends with his granddaughter.
Wow.
We've been out to his place, his basement. Well, his house is like a hockey NHL, like a Hall of Fame. The stuff that he's got down there.
I could imagine.
Oh yeah.
Do you have anything like that?
Yeah. Well, actually, so I guess I started watching hockey 15, 16, right when McDavid kind of was drafted and stuff. And I was playing minor hockey at the time, and I was in some outdoor tournament, and my dad paid $15 to enter this draw for a signed Oilers jersey. So I got to pick, you had to pick two cards. I picked Ace of Spades, Ace of Clubs, not knowing anything. I'm 10 years old or something like that, right? Yeah. So I knew aces were the best card that you could have, I guess, in poker. So I picked those two cards, and I won the draw. And I had to pick either between a Taylor Hall signed jersey or Connor McDavid jersey. And me not knowing hockey that much, I said, I knew who Taylor Hall was, but I was like, who's this McDavid guy? And my dad's like, oh, he was picked first overall. I'm like, well, picked first overall, he must be the best. I got to pick this guy's jersey. So I got a rookie signed McDavid jersey, and hanging on to that one for sure. That's really the only signed piece. I guess I got Louis DeBrusque signature as well. Curtis Lazar, I met him when he played for the Oil Kings. And
great guy, actually. He's not a kid anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That's a decent little collection. You'll build it up. What do you got, Grummy?
I don't have a ton of personalized message ones like you, but I do have one that hangs in my mom's basement on Redberry Road in Saskatoon, where Eric and Lucas and
call it CTV Row.
Yeah,
should be renamed.
Yeah. Media Row.
Ex-Bell Media Row. But there was I vaguely remember the meeting, but Gordie Howe, who's from, I think it's Radisson, Saskatchewan, if I'm not, I might have
Somewhere.
that wrong.
Yeah.
something
A small
like that.
town outside of Saskatoon. Did kind of after he retired, he had a book.
Yeah.
And I remember
How?
And how.
I remember reading that.
And he was signing copies of that book next to his wife. Actually, I remember who was there.
Colleen.
In Lawson Heights Mall, where I remember Eric and we talk about this sometimes. Like, whenever there'd be a special guest in town, they would seemingly go to the mall. So
Yeah.
you go to the food court and meet, like, Brett the Hitman Hart is one I can remember. So that's a special one. But
That's
the Gordie
cool.
Howe one, yeah, I have this framed. It's a Gordie Howe card. I don't even know what it is. It looks like he just had them made and maybe signed them, but it says, to Danny on it,
Nice.
which is what my name was pre-media, Danny. That one's on the wall at my mom's place. So, and I remember that interaction at Lawson Heights Mall with Gordie Howe. I don't remember what was said exactly, but he's obviously very gracious and nice.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you're right. It means a lot when it's to you,
Yep.
as opposed to just picking up an auto. Like I used to accompany. So one of my buddies is a real, I guess he's like an autograph hound, but
Okay.
he doesn't do it to sell them. Like he does it to literally meet celebrities, musical artists, athletes,
Yeah.
whatever. And I think he actually prefers to get a photo with them. I don't get it. Not my thing.
Who is it?
Who's my buddy?
Yeah.
Oh, he's just a friend in Saskatoon.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, his name's Adam.
There's a fella I know that's eerily similar here in the Edmonton area.
Oh yeah,
Just
they probably
loves-
know each other. Yeah, 'cause
probably just loves to have the memory of that he took a photo with
Yeah.
Ray Borg or
Yeah.
Justin Bieber or whatever.
I accompanied him like 20 years ago on some of like we'd meet. We used to be big wrestling fans, so we'd meet, and I met like Kurt Angle outside of Credit Union Center and stuff like that. I met Triple H and that kind of thing. And the interactions are brief, and you get autographs from those, but they weren't like too. They don't know your name.
Yeah.
I guess you could have asked to make it out to you, but like, so I don't really remember those so much. But you do, I guess, remember the personal interactions, and if you can get a keepsake, like you say, from them. From Louis or whoever it may be, it means more, I feel.
Yeah, it does. I remember it was my first year at Oilers TV, and I got to know Louis, and I was like, this guy's cool. I'm going to get an Oilers jersey. I'm like, Lou, if I get an Oilers jersey for my new condo, if I get your name and number, would you sign it? He's like, F yeah. So I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I know Louis DeBrusque, right? I was, I think, 23, 24 when I got that job. And so I get the jersey from the Oilers store, and I bring it to Louis at old Rexall Place. And he's like, Gaz, this is beautiful. Look at that 29. And then he just goes like this. Oh, yeah, it just smells like the old jerseys, too. And I was like, what the hell, Lou?
Oh.
And he just signed it. But I didn't get the message, so I actually have to get him to redo it. But yeah, it's just there's something to it where you're like, yeah, this is someone I know.
Well, and sometimes
or
it's
had
just
that
different
interaction.
meaning to them too.
Yeah.
Right? Where it's like there's a personal connection to or a story behind the piece that you have that's
Yeah.
hanging on a wall that every time you look at it, you can remember that story, whether it was good times, bad times, but there's stories behind a lot of that. Whereas if you're just collecting it to collect it, that's okay. Like, for instance, this Mark Rippon jersey is going to go where I have a signed Peyton Manning game worn jersey.
Mm-hmm.
And I have no connection. I just bought it at actually a Golden Bears football fundraiser. No connection to it. Don't really care for it.
Yeah.
Just it's beautiful, but I'm gonna have that's gone.
You're more
call.
likely for
Oh,
you're
yeah.
gonna put the Rippin one up, but
Heck yeah.
100 times more.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's funny is the next 10 years worth of New Jersey autograph signings with the new Fanatics ones.
No.
The Sharpie is going to leak through to the table, like to have these now as the keepsake. I haven't, to be fair, I don't know. I guess I've held the MLB ones. Like I have one of the new Jays ones.
And
it's not, no, because I also have an old Jays one. I held them, side by side. I'm like, they're bad.
yeah.
They're bad. They might be great to play in terms of like a
But even that
breathability factor.
the guys going into
Guy
the season
split
were
his
like,
ass
this is
open,
crap.
right?
Yeah, they're like,
sliding
these
into
things
home
suck.
plate. Now, Grammy, is it only baseball that the new
For now,
poorly
till next
made
year.
Fanatics jersey that everybody's ripping on? It's only baseball.
But
Well-
NHL next year, right?
NHL, yeah, but
There's no way they can do that.
here-
And continue this.
So Fanatics is taking over the jersey Here's the thing. There's a caveat there. So Fanatics basically handles NHL's fan apparel, has for a few years already now, and and what I was told from someone who deals with the merchandising and all that says Fanatics is it. Get used to it. It's not changing. They are the giants of fan apparel, and they will be for the foreseeable future. The game jerseys for the National Hockey League next year will be made from the same factory in Quebec that the current ones are made, and the materials are the same. So the quality of the jersey that's coming out next year, whether they're changing the cut or they're, you know how like Reebok switched up the design of the jersey, then Adidas did its own little thing. Fanatics might be, you know, tweaking the collar and all of that. That could be happening. I don't know for sure. I'm assuming it is. But the actual material that they're going to be using will be the same for the players. Okay? For the fans, who knows? And the prices are going up.
They're going up.
They're going
sure.
up.
Come on.
So if you want, I think I saw there was a leak. Aesthetics had it. If you want a authentic on ice uniform that the teams in the NHL wear, it's like $425 apparently. That's what the catalog had, the Fanatics catalog, and then a replica. Again, I have no idea what the quality of the replica is. I know Fanatics does a replica. It's got the weird logo that bends super easy and all of that. No, I think it's going to be upwards of $200 for the replica.
What a strange time it'll be when the Amazon, overseas off-brand knockoff jersey is higher quality than
That's
the one,
scary.
isn't it?
Well, but I mean, that's a good resource if it's done right, because there was those knockoffs like 10, 15 years ago that were terrible, and you could spot them a mile
Do you remember
away.
the orange in the Oilers? Orange was just not right.
no,
and
I
it'd
know.
be
The
like,
numbers were wrong, and the striping wouldn't be right. But I've seen some newer ones, and I'm like, those are pretty
good.
They don't
pretty
do a bad
close.
job, actually.
Yeah.
Some of them that I've seen. I saw one that was like the 2020-21 retro reverse jersey, and it was like I was caught off guard. I was like, so
Yeah.
is that a real jersey? And the guy was like, no,
Knockoff.
I got this online. And I was
Yeah.
like, huh.
They've upped their game base.
It is interesting though how over the years, like the old copper and blue jerseys that we grew up wearing, or they weren't really designed for a fan to wear. They were just a hockey jersey that you could
for
put
shoulder
on,
pads and elbow pads,
right?
Yeah.
And now, like you put on a fan as an
fitted.
Oilers jersey, it's like almost a tailored fit, right? Like it you can wear it out and you
Football
can feel
jerseys,
comfortable.
they've done the same
Football
thing.
jerseys, thank goodness they did that, because like football jerseys. If you were to look at, say, if I was to take you down to the Golden Bears locker room and show you the jerseys that the players wear, you would have a hard time putting it on by yourself.
Yeah.
Sans pads. I'm not even talking with the shoulder pads.
Because it's meant so you can't grab.
They
right?
are so tight.
Yeah.
Like it is almost. It looks like a shriveled up ball because there's so much elastic tension in it that gets stretched down over your shoulder pads and whatnot, and over your gear. And they are a different, but fan apparel for NFL jerseys are a totally different thing, which thankfully, because even that one year the NFL switched their collars to like this really wide collar for
I have one of those.
and
I
they
have a
just
Cardinals Palmer one.
suck to wear,
Yeah.
right? But now they're all the same. They're just like a simple V, and you can wear it to a Super Bowl party and not feel like a goof.
Right. And that's important, right? Like comfortability. But I want to ask about the comparison. You got the new Jays jersey compared to the old one.
Let's hear it.
And we heard the players in spring training complain and be like, hey, you can't even get tailored the way the old ones could. The cresting on it looks cheap. And then there was like some side-by-side comparisons. The see-through pants for the white pants for the players. I'm sure they've kind of rectified that, but even like they're saying like the material isn't as comfortable, the cut isn't as comfortable, and then this whole thing Fanatics put out is like, oh, this kind of technology, this is breathability, and this, and it's like that looks like dog crap. So you have two different Jays jerseys, and you can compare
Three,
the two.
actually. Like I have remember the black era where they like the Vernon Wells era Jays jersey?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that changes by jersey generation, if you want to call it that, is the weight. Like I bet you if you hold your Peyton Manning game worn jersey, like that thing's probably like 3 pounds or something. You know, like it's actually this new Jays jersey. The one thing I guess that is nice, it fits nice. It's super light, but I think because it's super light and and thin, right?
Yeah.
And like it just doesn't feel like you're holding anything substantial. And then the other thing I notice is the like the material that makes up the logo and mine doesn't have a name on the back, so I guess it's just the logo. But if you were to test one in store, like the name number on the back, like it's, how can I describe? I don't know.
Is it
feels,
embroidered still? The patch?
No, it feels like it almost
Or
feels.
is it heat press?
It feels heat press. Like it is glued on, I think.
Yeah, that's brutal.
And I don't know that we can expect any different from the NHL ones for what, more than $250 now?
Yeah.
So if they're going to go up?
Yeah. Like if you get one of those, I know at the old building they used to have it. I'm assuming they still do it at the new one. But if you were to get a custom jersey like that game day, they had a heat press. They didn't.
Yep.
Right.
They didn't stitch it on. Obviously, I'm guessing that it's been heat press for a long time now.
Yeah.
All the jerseys, you mean? Like,
Not the game jerseys, but
Oh,
like
yeah,
if
yep.
fan jerseys, unless you go and get one embroidered. I think Jack and Ken Cookson could probably tell the difference and give
Yeah.
us more insight if they're watching and listening. But yeah, heat press seems like it's the way to go and the easy way. Like they'll take the tackle twill numbers and letters, just line it up, and then just
yeah,
heat
it takes
on.
10 minutes.
Yeah.
Like, it was really easy. I actually have one of those for myself. And, well, the name was spelt wrong. It was my last name. They messed it up, whatever. I went to go fixed it for free, and took 10 minutes, and I was out. And, like, the heat press, like, it seems odd because you know one day that it's going to start peeling back, and,
Yeah.
like, the possibility of that. So they will heat press it for free, but the fact of having to come back and...
I'm pretty sure that technology, though, the heat pressing has changed. Like,
I hope so.
even in the last 5 years, where it's now something that's like almost bonded to the material. But I know, like, yeah, we all used to have the cheap shirt that after a wash or two, it would start and you could just peel the letters
Yeah.
off, right? But to their credit, it is hard to spell Zacticum. So I don't blame them.
That would be a fun custom jersey, yeah. Does the whole Zach
do
I
it.
didn't.
Yeah. I mean,
I might have to.
give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah.
I mean, even the EST, the Edmonton Sports Talk hat is embroidered,
Yeah.
No, those are nice.
sparing no expenses here.
Do you guys know if there's any difference now between like I guess it's the Adidas jerseys you can buy for $250 versus what the players wear? Like there must be some difference.
Yeah, I think, and I was talking to the equipment managers and the marketing people because I was still working at the Oilers at the time. I think the materials are the same as the ones you buy in the store, but where they're manufactured is different. So like
Like different regions of China.
well the fan ones, the ones you probably buy in the team stores and stuff, probably manufactured in Bangladesh or China or whatever, and then the ones that the players are wearing are the ones that come out of the Quebec factory. They have the little tag and has a little Canada thing, and then that. But I think, from what I understand, like the materials and all that are supposed to be
Pretty
the
close.
same, and that's why they said that the price was going up for the game jerseys because you're getting the same one that the players are wearing, but really you're not.
The gap's actually getting wider, right?
It
Between
is.
what the players wear and what you're getting.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Yeah, you're getting crappier quality and you're paying more, and you better like it because you're stuck with it.
Yeah.
It's just a crappy situation.
Just get a Walmart jersey. Not that like.
Well, those aren't even really.
yeah, I know.
Think about how much quicker you'll be able to walk to the restroom at the games with that breathability and like the aerodynamics of these new jerseys, right?
Oh yeah,
I'll be the first in line every time.
turbocharged. Yeah. It's the EST Hangout here on a lovely Friday. Tom Gazzola, Jay Milne, Dan Grummett, and Zach to come with you. Text us 780-218-9999 or get at us in the nasty chat. Anything you want to talk to, let's let her rip. We've got about 40 minutes to go. Iwanyk is in a meeting.
Yes.
Big meeting.
A big meeting. It is something cool. He teased it, and it has something to do with our crushable beer, which is available for $12.99. Sobeys Safeway liquor stores starting on the 18th all the way till June 30th. Playoff pricing. So if you need some 6 o'clockers, get it.
Not Oilers playoff pricing.
Not oil. no, $13.99 would be per tall boy, but $13.99 or $12.99, $13. for a 4-pack, which is great. So, yeah, he's in a meeting, and you're going to be seeing a lot of 6 o'clock loggers out there this summer. That's all I can say about that.
Zach, we were talking earlier about the playoffs and how it's shaken out. Now that all the matchups are lined up, right? I heard you guys talking about it a little bit on the morning show about potential upsets. What I guess the conversation's been primarily on the Western Conference here.
Yep.
What do you guys think is going to happen on the Eastern Conference? Give me who you think is going to win, and give me who you think might be an upset.
Oh, because the Eastern Conference is good too, but I feel the Western Conference is definitely more.
The Western Conference, I think, is
powerful overall.
deeper. We could all agree on that.
Yeah.
The Eastern Conference is still robust.
I think the most likely upset would be Tampa to beat Florida,
Okay.
I like that one.
followed by Boston. Like, is Toronto's the favorite? Are they not? Or are they? No,
They
they're the
shouldn't
third
be.
seed.
Aren't they a
They're
4
the
or
third
5?
seed, yeah. So,
Like,
No,
so I guess
it's not
Toronto.
like in the old scheme of things, like, wouldn't it be like they're the
the old
closest?
4 or 5. Yeah,
They're the closest
they're
matched.
2-3, yeah.
So I don't think I think Toronto has a lot of weaknesses, but I think that now that they're over that first round hump, I don't think. I actually do think that they could get past Boston this year.
I think they will. I agree
yeah.
with you. I think they will.
If that's
I think.
an upset, then yeah, that one.
Boston was interesting because they had 15 overtime losses this year. I think
Crazy.
they wrapped up the season with 15. They went to OT. When they faced Edmonton, it was like 22 or 23 times. So, like, they benefited from the loser point.
Yeah.
Are
And the
they the
Islanders,
same
yeah.
team from last? Yeah, same with the Islanders. So, that to me is the interesting part. It's like, what are the Bruins? Like, are they truly a beast, or are they kind of a pretender? Because without the OT losses, we're talking about a team that's maybe not considered a contender.
Because of that, I do doubt them. In the series, I got the Leafs in probably 7 or 6 games. It'll probably go 7.
I hope
and
it
given
goes
the
7.
history. Either way, whatever happens, I'm all here for it. It's going to be an exciting series to watch. But I do agree with you, like the Lightning being probably the biggest potential for an upset over in the East. I mean, their pickups at the deadline just insane with Dumba and Duclair.
What do you guys think of this? I was looking at it last night, and the Islanders have sure been playing very good hockey as of recent.
Yeah.
Like, they are on fire right now, heading in against Carolina. Is that something you could see as a potential upset, or is Carolina just too consistently strong?
Grummy, I'll let you take. You're shaking your head too.
I think Carolina is a favorite to go to the East Final. One of the problems is they're going to have to go through the Rangers, but I think they can, and I think they'd be the odds-on favorite for me. I mean, their D's just so solid. They finally pulled the trigger on a big deadline piece this year.
Yep.
They've got Freddie Anderson back playing pretty well. They managed to get some guys some rest heading into the playoffs, and I know the Islanders and the Capitals as well have been playing, punching above their weight a little bit for the past couple of months, just scraping to get in. But I think then they're going to be in for a reality check when they have to face these teams. So I don't really see the Islanders.
Okay.
Because what area are they better in? Goal? Even Sorokin's been kind of.
Well, Varlamov
been
took over.
Yeah. So I don't know how. I see a lot of low-scoring games in that series because Carolina doesn't allow a ton of shots. They have a really good, really strong D, and they just. I don't know. I just don't see who is going to beat the Hurricanes actually.
Carolina might be the best team that we're not talking about.
Yeah.
Like, just as a whole, because everybody's talking about all the crazy stuff that's happening in the Western Conference, all the juggernauts there. And then when you look out east, it's, well, the Leafs. Hey, the Leafs, obviously, that's always going to be part of the rhetoric. And I think the Rangers seem like a President's Trophy winning team that doesn't get the respect it deserves.
Yep.
Like, people point out that team's flaws more than appreciate its strengths. So I think the Rangers are going to be a beast. And
Wouldn't the NHL love that?
yeah, of course. Hey, we talk about this too much, like the NHL and the leagues loving it.
But they would.
Sure.
It's all about money.
Yeah.
That would generate the highest revenue out of any team in the U.S.
But you know what it spurs on?
by far.
Conspiracies.
Who cares about that? There's no... You cannot script an NHL game, an NFL.
No.
That's all BS. I'm talking about dollars and cents. For the Rangers to get to a cup final, You know, the thought of another ticker tape parade going down in Manhattan. I mean, come on. And you know, that when I say that the NHL would love it, I like really actually literally mean that, because that would be the highest revenue generating Stanley Cup final they've seen in years.
But they've had Sweetheart. They've had their cake and eaten it too. They had the Kings and
who cares about the Kings?
They had the Rangers. Who did the Rangers play in the final? What was the Kings? Was
yeah.
it not?
Yeah,
Yeah, they've
2014.
had that.
Lundqvist's big, yeah. It was
They've
quite
had
nice.
like these great like dream matchups and scenarios.
That wasn't real. I mean, the New York, they were not the number one seed in the Eastern Conference, projected to go on
But they
and be a
did it.
Stanley Cup contender. I know, but
They've
that was
had
no
Chicago
series.
in there. They've had Boston in there. Like they've had these significant Stanley Cup finals. Like who gives a crap?
Wasn't last year one of the worst, lowest rated, I should say, finals in a long time? When you look at the teams, it kind of makes sense. Vegas, Florida.
Yeah.
So,
whatever.
I don't know. Does the NHL root secretly for big market teams to get in? I don't know.
Maybe not the NHL as much as the networks.
Oh, I'm sure
Maybe the networks,
do.
but
Right.
like this year is going to be record revenue for the National Hockey League. So if they're that greedy and they're like, well, we want the New York Rangers to go to the Stanley Cup final against the Los Angeles Kings, like, come on,
Yeah.
come on.
You know, you can never be too greedy.
The but it's like, does anyone disagree it's going to be Canes Rangers in the second round? Like that's the second round, right?
Should be.
Like what?
What if the Islanders and the Caps pull off a miracle? I don't think it's
Who
gonna
has
happen.
a better chance of those two teams of upsetting?
I would say
Islanders.
the Islanders.
Yeah,
I would say.
Like
yeah,
Washington,
they're not good.
those teams, Washington, Detroit, Pittsburgh, Philly. Like
Minus.
how those teams stumbled and bumbled their way through the stretch drive was amazing. We talk about the great races in the West and all that, but like that chase for wild card 2 in the East was hilarious and a calamity all in itself. It was crazy. Good on the Pens for making a run. Good on the Red Wings. But my God, if you're Philly, like that's embarrassing.
That
is really bad.
Huge collapse.
The Caps to like fight their way in. Good on the Caps, but that was just like, oh my
The
God.
Couturier benching seemed to be the beginning of the end for them. Hey, I mean that timed out. I don't want to
Excuse
talk
me.
about the Flyers a whole. I don't know much about them, but like,
John Tortorella. That's all
Yeah.
you need to know.
yeah,
Pretty
seemed
much.
like it.
See. Zach, you didn't give us your Eastern sleeper upset.
Well, for the upset,
Yeah.
it would probably be the Lightning. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
So you're
they're
with
not
Grummy
even
on that.
they're wild card
But
team,
it is
but
an
they're
upset.
not a wild card team.
Yeah, it would be an upset for sure. That's going to be a heck of a series.
I'm not
Heck of a
picking the
series.
Lightning. Like, if I had to pick an upset that I think
Sure.
will happen, I'm picking Toronto.
Sure.
No, I got Florida in the final myself.
Yeah. They kind of had a tough go too down the stretch.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what? They've
can
done
crank
it
it up.
before. They crank it up, right?
Freezer Bag Texan says Carolina is the new age San Jose Sharks. Almost,
Well,
but
I
not
hope they
quite.
get to the final with the Oilers then.
Too soon,
Wouldn't that be
Grummy.
something?
I'm just
Well,
kidding.
if they're that, then they won't win. I mean, that's my point, I guess. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
if-
I know what you mean.
They would scare me a little bit. I mean, what team, if you're going to the final from the West, I'm not saying for the Oilers, but what team do you want to meet? I guess you want to meet a Cinderella team, and not a juggernaut. But probably getting slightly ahead of ourselves. but
Way
it's
ahead of
fun to-
ourselves.
Fun to hypothesize.
Yeah.
There's one chance in the East, 3 chances in the West of a Canadian team making it to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, is this going to be the year?
You
And is
know,
Vancouver really a Canadian team when they only have like one Canadian-born player usually in the
they
lineup?
are Canadian.
Okay.
They are. Come
Can
on.
they really be Canada's team if they're just made of Europeans?
They would be if they came out of the West. 100%.
No, you're right.
Yeah. Oh, come on in. Pull up
look at this.
pull up the
How'd it
corner,
go?
Mr. Lean.
Zacticum, great work,
Smiling.
buddy. Great work.
Nice to meet you, Zacticum.
Nice to meet you as well.
Take care.
Ah, yes.
Get out of here.
Standing with the camera.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Look
That's
at
a
that.
butt shot.
There
That's
you
a
go.
butt
That's
shot.
a butt shot.
Ah, that's okay.
But you know what I
Good
said,
job,
Zach?
Zach.
Tim, give the fans what they want
Yeah.
to see. Your butt.
Oh boy. Welcome back, Matthew.
How'd it go?
Yeah,
Jeez,
that
really
was a
good.
very efficient
Really
meeting.
good. Well, it's just getting some info done. We've got some things to give away, but Alley Cat is the official beer of the Great Outdoor Comedy Festival that's coming up, which will feature the 6 o'clocker lager.
Boom.
So-
You just
So it
dropped
is being
that.
announced.
It is. I was told that we could go with it and stuff.
All
So
right.
yeah, no, it's going to be the first major event that 6 o'clocker lager is ever going to be featured at. It's got the great playoff promotion at Sobey Safeway Liquor, $12.99 until June 30th. But yeah, it's going to be the official beer at the Great Outdoor Comedy Festival. So if anyone's going to that event, they'll be able to buy some of many products from Alley Cat. I got the list of everything that they have, but one of them will be the 6 o'clocker lagers. So there'll be a lot of people that don't know EST that are going to be drinking our beer.
Hell yeah.
They're going to be drinking our beer, and we'll have over the next few months chances we're going to qualify people to give away some VIP tables
Really?
to the Great Tour Comedy Festival. So it's going to be a fun little run coming up here because we've got the EST Flyaway coming to an end next week. We've got something else in the works that hopefully we can get going on soon afterwards with that.
Yep.
We got the Great Outdoor Comedy Festival and the giveaway that we'll do with that now. And it's Oilers playoffs.
We had a nice little run of giveaways here for the
Yes.
peeps.
Yes.
We had people asking if 6 o'clocker lager will be available at ball games this year. I said, I don't know, but maybe
Riverhawks.
too soon to say anything.
Yeah, I don't know anything
We don't know.
on that one.
We don't know. But the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival, July 12th to 14th.
It's a great lineup. They just added Kevin Hart on the
Oh, they
Saturday.
did add Kevin Hart.
Yes, on the
Because
Saturday.
it's 2 night, right?
Yeah.
So
3
it's
nights.
Shane
Gillis?
Gillis.
No, it's Friday,
Andrew
Saturday,
Schultz,
Sunday.
Kevin Hart,
I heard the Gillis tickets
Mark
went
Gagnon.
fast.
Marc Gagnon.
The Friday nights, the VIPs are all gone. They have some still available for GA, general admission. Saturday's going extremely well, and Sunday's doing a pretty good. They're moving tickets too on that one. So
Not if
I'll
you're-
say this:
Not if you're an EST listener, though.
if you're an EST listener, you get a chance to get a VIP table if you keep listening over the next few months. But it's just also get your tickets now to the Great Outdoor Comedy Festival because they're moving. Those things are moving.
Bert Kreischer headlining Sunday with Whitney Cummings.
Yeah.
She's great.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome.
How about a round of clicks for Alley Cat?
Kingsman Park.
Great Outdoors Festival, and our
Trickstar.
our COO, Matthew
It's-
Iwanyk, getting the job done.
We haven't done a round of clicks in a while.
Feels good, boys.
It's-
Feels
Yeah,
good.
all right.
I saw Chaos Outdoor Festival. It was a metal concert for 2 days.
So Kinsman,
in
just, that's right under
2019.
the high level bridge, right?
And it was there. It's a great spot to spend a summer night.
Sun setting right over the stage.
You've got the Walterdale one side, actually the high level on the other side.
Yeah.
Which when it's lit up and stuff.
Beautiful.
Sun's like still up, but like setting in the distance type thing. And then you're just going to have some laughs.
Might be a great date night.
That
That'd be
would
a great
be a
date
great
night.
date night.
Yeah.
And you
Get a VIP table of 4, double date. Boom.
That's the best view of Edmonton from that side of the river, in my
Looking
opinion.
up
You got
towards
the nice
downtown,
Walterdale
yeah.
Bridge, looking up at downtown. The stage is right there.
Yeah, we're good to go.
My mom would not understand any of the comedians. What does it mean? Oh my God, that's so terrible to me. Oh, what? This is comedy? This is bad.
My wife loves your mom.
My mom probably loves April, but
She-
maybe I could find a nice girl to bring to that thing.
Sure, let's do it.
Or just not
do
worry
it.
about it and have a great time by myself, which is also something.
bring
that can
Grummy.
be done. I'll bring Grummy.
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Please.
let's do that.
Get me out of the house.
Perfect.
That'd be fun.
Tell Sophia, night off. You do your
Yeah.
thing with your girls, and then you're going with Tommy to the Great Outdoor Comedy
Tom's
Festival.
taking me, I'll say.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Buying you drinks, Grummy.
Yeah.
You can come
Buy
too,
me
Matt.
6 o'clock loggers.
Hell yeah.
So who's out? April? Are we just
Yeah.
gonna have the hangout?
Boys.
Are we just taking the hangout?
boys' night, baby.
Yeah.
This hangout is coming. We're all just going to the Great
Let's
Outdoor
go.
Comedy Festival.
That's awesome. I'm glad they gave the green light to.
Yeah,
to
they're
let
ready to go.
everybody-
Like absolutely,
Cat's
start
out of the
throwing
bag.
that out
Hey,
there and throw that out there. And yeah, Alley Cat, a lot of their fine beers are going to be there. And
They had a new beer drop the other day. I think it was yesterday. Some seasonal stuff. I think it was. If I remember.
oh, now I'm
correctly.
forgetting what she said.
Who'd you talk
they-
to? Sarah.
Sarah was on the
Paige?
call, and
Cam?
someone from Trickstar who's putting on the event. But they've got. I don't know if they said it was announced yet or they're about to announce it. I'm going to assume that they're about to announce it in the coming days.
The new beer.
No, it's something else.
Oh.
They've got something coming.
Something cool.
Yes.
A tease.
Yes. You're going to want to
you
stay on the
dirty
Alley Cat
tease.
socials. Because at least for me, for this summer, you're going to want it. beyond the 6 o'clock or lager. You're gonna want this in the summer, straight up.
My gosh.
The new beer that they dropped yesterday. There's the Gemini Double IPA, the Gemini Dragon Double IPA. They posted this a day ago, and then they've got the Full Moon Pale Ale.
That's been around.
And
I've had that before.
Well, that's a new beer day. That's
I know, but I think they're just reintroducing it. I've
okay.
had that Full Moon.
okay.
Pretty sure.
And they're
it's been
celebrating their
around.
birthday. That's what it is.
What a day.
Is that all they have?
They're paying homage to their birthday and the
Okay.
29 years.
Perfect. So then I didn't spoil anything.
Okay.
It hasn't been announced yet. It's coming
Yeah.
very soon. I think it's going to be great. So
This is so
Maybe
cool.
there's a Riverhawks game in the afternoon. Float over to the Comedy
I
Fest.
think you could do that on the Sunday, if anything,
Wouldn't that be a day?
because the Riverhawks only play afternoons on the Sunday.
Go have a
When
dog.
does their season start?
Like May 31st, is it? May 31st on the
nice.
road. First home game is June 7th. They're on the road that weekend. So I know something, that's fine. It's just another weekend to go spend in the River Valley.
Yeah, get one of those little scooters.
Never used them.
I love those.
Oh, they're so much fun.
That's how I get to
You know,
football
I was
games.
driving. I used to take River Valley Road pretty much on a daily commute to get from our warehouse to their store. And one day I was driving down River Valley Road, and there was a group of kids that were on the bridge under the LRT. So
Yep.
the walk bridge where you'd go up and then you can get across to like White Ave and whatnot. They literally had one of these scooters, hoofed it over the rail into the North Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
I stopped my car. Like I pulled into the Glenora, I stopped, and I was getting out, and I'm like calling the cops. I'm like, "This is outrageous! Like these little piss ants! Like, what are you doing? You're. This is our river.
In the daytime?
Like morning, like 10 a.m.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
What?
You do see lime
And
scooters.
so
in
like, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I gonna do?
There's
Throw
also,
them
like,
into the river? I should have. I would have. I would have
Citizens
loved
arrest.
to. Citizens arrest.
You'll
Yeah,
never
the
stop it.
citizens arrest.
Stop.
No, you can't. You
Kids
can't.
are kids. Kids are stupid.
You can't stop
Kids
stupidity.
will make stupid things. They'll just keep doing it, and it happened. Your generation did it. My generation did it. Not saying you did it, but people in your generation did it. There'll always be idiots out there that are trying to ruin things.
I just wonder how
it's
many-
Like Moss Pit last year. It hit a point where it was the fun is starting to turn very creepy and wrong, and like how
Yeah.
much do we have to stop this?
Yeah. That was.
Oh, I saw. I was not even there for a very long time last year. I think I tried to get into the brew house or something.
Yeah.
And it was a long wait, so I was like, let's get out of here. But I saw like people. There were and mostly people are having a good time. So let's establish that. But it was like there was like people like the poor Moss Pit security like trying to. They're having a because people try to sneak in right, the exit sides.
Yeah.
And when they get stopped, it's like, my girlfriend's in there. My girlfriend's in there, and they're like, "You can't come in the exit side."
Bruh.
But my girlfriend, and like they're having full-on meltdowns that these staff are having to like deal with, and then they're getting sworn at, abused. Like there are like people got to chill out. Like just go in the normal lineup. You're trying to sneak in.
Yeah.
you got caught. Go to the back of the line.
There's a
like,
process here.
and wasn't it last year where like people pushed through
Yeah.
the gates? And
Yeah,
somebody was
through
injured,
like the
right?
front gate
let's
and like
what
ransacked
is
the
it,
place.
like-
I love the concept of the Moss Pit and the Maple Leaf Square, all that stuff. That's great. But like, I remember going because the show, my old the old station was at Ice House pre and post game, and I remember leaving with like 7 minutes left in the third period of one of the games, and the cops were just like leaning on the side of the arena, and they're like, "Tom, where do you got to go? You got to go do your show over there?" I was like, "Yeah." They're like, "Good luck." I was like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Look at this. This is a mess." And even they seemed a bit defeated. And then I found a way. I was able to tuck my way around, and I got to the spot really quickly. But I looked at that, Grummy, and I'm like, how in God's green earth do you think that would be an enjoyable experience to watch a playoff game? It's too crowded. The people are peeing their pants. Like the drinks are expensive. The lineups are huge. You got guys going bro at the exit trying to get in. Like people are getting their fingers bit off by somebody who's on meth. Like that is not a fun experience. I'm sorry.
Not with what it turned into.
Yeah,
It just a bunch of people gathering to watch hockey and enjoy it together is amazing.
great.
And that's what it was supposed to be, and that's what
Right.
it was the year prior.
So here's what you do. Here's how you fix this.
Oh no, this is the problem.
No, it's not. It's
No, it
actually
is
the
because once you
solution.
start regulating things, it's lost it. It's past, and that's where I have a problem. That these guys.
I'm not
ruined-
trying to
they ruined
regulate.
it.
I'm trying to deregulate. take down the fences, stop monetizing it by selling beer in there.
That's never gonna happen.
You need to have the beer in there.
You know what? Screw it. People are going to bring their own beer anyways.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Let the place be open. No fencing. No heightened security. Like, just let them come and enjoy that square. Bring what you want. Just be a little lax. You know.
That's what they were, and look what it turned into.
I know, but you're trying to still enforce inside that iron curtain of mesh chain link that's going to get taken down anyways. Take them all down. Don't put the beer stands in there. Just say, hey, enjoy it responsibly. But if you're out of hand, you're going to get taken out.
But like Tom says, when you can make $15, you can sell $15 Molsons.
Yeah.
No way, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not
Oh,
gonna
I
happen.
know, because money always comes over common sense.
It does. It really does. And that's the unfortunate thing. And it was just like, I'm like, why? If I want to watch the game and enjoy it, I don't want to be like throwing elbows for a small sliver of the moss.
But it's not
pit.
about the game. It's about the atmosphere. It's about the experience.
That's not a good atmosphere, though.
But you're not
Matty.
21.
That's the thing.
Not anymore,
As a
yeah.
kid, that's what you want is when you're a younger person, all to come together and have just a great time and let the night go wherever it goes.
But what did they call it when the Raptors were
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park? I mean, did you...
That's what they're trying to replicate.
I know, but did we hear horror stories from Jurassic Park? Because it seemed like that went on for like blocks, where they just said, let them take over the whole downtown.
There had to have been similar issues.
I'm sure there
I would think
was,
so.
but I mean, when you're trying to control and contain people in an alcohol-fueled bubble,
Well,
good luck.
You had two issues. One, you have Yagwave posting everything.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, like they're posting.
Did you see Yukon's tweet the other day of Yagwave coming around the tree?
Like it's one of those things. Every city,
That was brilliant.
Edmonton's always had its problems. Every city has
Every
its problems.
city does.
But once you then start showcasing it, it's that clearly. Then it's
Yeah.
going to be like, well, everyone thinks poorly of what's going on. So
Yeah.
that gives a bad look to Moss Pit.
Yeah.
And then you did have the person who got shot by the police.
Well,
'Cause they had a
they were
knife.
literally stabbing someone,
that-
and then
and
they
that
got
was
shot.
a
And it's-
separate.
That-
But
and
it's
was
right
yeah.
near it,
Yeah.
and that's all of a sudden going to cause security issues, and be like, well, we can't. Thank God the police rightfully took them down. Like that needed to happen. But you have those two major issues. Now all of a sudden people look at Moss Pit and go, do we get rid of this, or how do we? do this?
Whatever
Do we
happened to
take it out?
natural
All that.
selection?
That's
I mean
a
it.
good question.
Like, if you're going to be an idiot and show up there and act like an idiot, and somebody wants to take you out and knock your head off, I think it's totally fine.
The big issue down there is capacity, right?
Right.
And when the deeper the Oilers go in the playoffs, like, did you see some of the lines wrapped around, I guess it would be Stantec Tower and the City Market last year where people are trying to get in? At some point, the line stops moving.
Yeah.
Then people get angry, and it culminated last year at one point with that fence being pushed over. It seems like OEG tried to alleviate that by creating a second park east
fan
of
park.
Epcor Tower.
Yes.
For the fan or for
And
families more.
But people don't want to go there, right? Like, people want to be in the action.
Yeah.
And that's their challenge, right? Is to convince people that being over at the Epcor side, or the I guess it'd be east of Rogers Place, is just as fun and just as happening as the Moss Pit.
Yeah.
And they just haven't been able to do that yet.
There's more room over there.
There
Way
is.
more room.
Yeah, I think they're going to put multiple screens.
It might be a better experience.
I would think it is. It's the way they have it set up. I see it almost every day. Like, yeah, common sense, logic don't always mix with alcohol. But you're right, Grummy. Like,
And the smells,
I hate
when
this.
it was plus
what is
28
that?
last year. And
Oh my god! And we live right across from the arena district, and like you could tell, especially after a Saturday night game, you walk through, you're going to go buy groceries, or you need to go to the rink for the team's practice, and you just like puke, broken bottle, and then you see the poor people cleaning it all up, and you're like, ugh.
Yeah, but also I could walk by bars on a Sunday morning and I see puke.
And it's like that at every city. I watched a guy in Pittsburgh downtown at noon, right in the middle of the business district, in front of a church behind a dumpster while business people were walking by, defecate in front of everybody. It was just like, oh, it happens everywhere.
Well, Stupid Good Looking comes in the nasty chat, and he says kind of, what I'm thinking of with when we said the Jurassic Park, theory is close 104th down on game days. Close it down, open it up, set up TVs on either side of that pedway So you can have people facing it from the east, people facing it from the
Yeah,
west.
but you know what you're pissing off?
Who?
People going inside Rogers Place going,
The fans
I've just
that buy
spent
tickets.
X amount of money and I can't get dropped off with ride sharing in this, that we're that close. I'm supposed to take a ride and I can't be right there. And like, how am I going to get by all these people to get inside
Take
the
a
place?
scooter.
And it's,
Yeah.
Pull it
yeah,
out
but
of
now
the
they
river.
filled out that
Issues.
whole 104 and they're like, how do I get it? And like, it's, that's where
You
the
can't
issue's going
win
to come.
in this
There's never going to be a
situation.
win.
I don't. Yeah, you're right.
And but it's like this could have, as long as you didn't have all those idiots take this too far, it could have just kept happening.
Right.
But now it's like at one point, like you do have the idea of, do you have to ticket this? Even if it's free, do you have to ticket it and send out free
lottery.
tickets and a lottery?
Yeah.
But now you start regulating this, and it loses.
Well, they might have to. I mean, with the look how busy it got for the to get to game 6 last year of
point.
round 2. If they go to the 3rd round and beyond, they're going to have to do something
It's
like
just
that.
gonna keep growing and growing and growing. If anything, you shut off the roads south of Ice District.
Did you
Shut
notice?
off 103rd and all that, like right in front of our place?
Did
Yeah, it
you
might be
notice
miserable for us, but start shutting those down.
104th yesterday, they had barricades north of 103rd Ave when I was coming home from Hudson's.
Yeah, I didn't go look what it was for.
I was wondering, I'm like, are they getting ready for playoffs? Are they testing something? It was interesting.
Like construction or
Nope,
just
just no entry.
That might be a good idea, Matty. Just
Towards the
south
arena.
of 104th.
Go different streets.
Yeah.
Go
And then- but put
instead
up
of
a-
104th Ave, go 104th Street down where
That-
all those where
Bars,
Kelly's
restaurants,
are and all
yeah.
that. And maybe those bars
Put
will
up a
love
couple
that
different-
too. Come on in and
Home and
stuff.
away, yeah.
viewing TVs too, like
Yeah,
or
all
like
that,
screens
everywhere.
and everything, so
Yeah.
you can, so nobody's just mad
Huddle.
rushing to this moss
And you keep
pit.
104 Ave open for ride share and stuff to get dropped off for the game for the people that are spending their second mortgage on getting there.
I do remember from that story I told you where the guy was having a meltdown trying to get back in. My friends and I left the moss pit. We left the Ice District and went south to go find a bar to watch it at where we could actually get in. And it was amazing how quickly, when just a half a block, or I think a block away from like south of Ice District, how the crowds just died. Like
Yeah.
you wouldn't even know, besides maybe the noise or the hum of the crowd. I think the Leafs Lightning game was on at that point, but like, you wouldn't even know that there was anything happening besides a couple people in Oilers jerseys heading towards the Ice District.
Smart.
But like to your point, yeah, there's probably opportunity for a larger, a larger gathering space, I guess, that stems away from there.
But
Yeah.
money.
But money,
But money.
what are you gonna do?
That ice district ain't gonna pay for itself, right?
It might be too small.
Phase B.
Like
It
I
is
wonder
too small.
what the size is compared to Jurassic Park.
You could see Jurassic Park went out for blocks,
Yeah, but I'm
Maple
wondering,
Leaf
like, it's-
Square
that's-
isn't that big.
but
Yeah,
but
it's
it's
not.
spread down streets is what, and
Well,
that's what we're saying. Like,
but-
take it out onto the streets.
And I don't know that might have been where the design flaw is here, is
Yeah.
that they couldn't. It is the capacity, and you got to leave it at that because
Yeah.
you can't
But
take it down the streets as
okay,
easily or something.
104th Street. We have the market on weekends, the farmers market. Why can't that
coming
be?
back.
Yeah, and that's great. It should come back. It creates a great vibe. People walk around, dogs, great local products, all that stuff. For the playoffs in those games, why not let that be a release valve for the moss pit?
Yeah.
I think that's what Matt just
103,
said.
And,
Or
and then
103rd.
you have to put some screens up.
Yep.
But I guess who does that, right? Who's going to organize that? Why would
Now
they
you're in the
win?
city. Now you're dealing with the city.
Yeah.
And this isn't. And now
We have tons of money. We're the city of Edmonton.
Probably, I
the
don't know if
city
you
right
know
now
this.
is having some issues with the money part of
Hey,
this.
it's a good thing too. I'm glad we're talking about this because I'm so glad to hear that we've put aside $100 million to make sure that our bike lanes are pristine.
I stand by our
man.
bike lanes. I'm not
They
gonna lie.
are useless. People don't even use them.
Yes, they do.
Matthew,
No, they
there
don't
was a
use them as much
snowstorm.
as the money that goes into them. Like per
Yeah.
capita per bicycle, it's a waste of money.
There's a
It's not
snowstorm.
even close.
I'm just gonna because Grummy wants to get in on this. I can
No.
see.
No,
he's smart.
I actually
He's
like
smart.
it's a divisive topic in
Totally.
the city, and I yeah, go ahead.
But okay,
Don't
I
take a
just
side.
I remember
smart, don't.
going to practice in the morning. We got snow. This was like a month or two ago. We got a fresh
Let me
layer
guess.
of
It was
snow.
clean before the roads.
It was perfect.
because they
I
use
walked down
different
the bike
cleaning.
line.
They don't use the same.
Why is
machines.
it a priority?
It's not, but they
No.
don't use the same machines.
You know who's walking down the bike
They're
lane?
done differently.
Me, because I can't go on the sidewalk because I'll fall.
You're not taking a bike lane cleaning thing and putting it on a road. They're different machines.
The bike
That's why they
lanes-
get cleaned first.
I'm glad
That's
we
all it
have
comes
them,
down
but
to.
the fact that we're pumping
It
all this
doesn't
money
sound
is
like you do.
stupid. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
no,
Grummy, go ahead.
I just so I do use bike lanes because I ride a bike.
Yes.
There you go.
I also understand why I do think the optics of spending that kind of money on a network of lanes why it didn't go over well. You know, and like we do have other. It's all about triaging where you can put your money, right? I guess. And so, what is that the wisest investment of $100 million at this time? I don't know, right? But will I bike on the lanes when they're created? Sure.
Yes.
And again, I don't know, like how much money has actually been spent on those. Like, I don't think the network's been actually expanded out. It really has just been this lightning rod of controversy that I don't think they've moved on it. It just continues to receive criticism.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I'm pro 100 mil on bike lane, but I am pro people like trying to get different modes of transportation.
Like
at the same
that.
time,
Yeah.
I mean, I like to bike to work in the summer when I can, but if it's raining, and certainly if it's snowing, I can't. And so...
you can if you're downtown and you catch the street sweeper.
yeah, exactly. So we do have to make sure we can actually move traffic.
Yes.
That should be the priority.
There's a way of doing it all.
There we go.
You got to find the balance of all those things. Well, no, that's
Matthew's
what
a
you have
thinker.
to do. Is you got to.
You're right.
You can't just. To me, there are people that use bikes, so you got to be welcomed. And I believe in climate change. I believe we need to
Same.
try to encourage people to try different modes of transportation
And
if
I
we
like
can,
bikes.
and we go forward.
That
with
has nothing to
That's-
do with the fact that that cyclists could cycle wherever they wanted.
I'd
wherever
rather them on a bike lane than on
whenever
a road
they
with a
wanted
car.
before
It's
they
the-
were
I'd
bike
rather them
lanes.
not be on like a
It's the
car.
safety aspect
I'd
of it,
rather
right?
them not have to deal with them while in a car.
Now, last
Well, what about
weekend,
motorbikes? Then why don't they have their own lane
They're
too?
going. They could go the same speed.
Did
as
you
me.
drive in one?
They go the same
Have you
speed
seen
as
these
me.
bikes that
take
they're
a
riding
shortcut?
now? Have you seen the
We're
bikes
done
that are
with this now.
e-bikes?
We're done
Come
with this
on,
one.
Matt. Seriously.
really quickly in the bike lane, Grummy. Yeah, you nailed it. I did happen to catch a motorist just cruising down a bike lane right in front of our building last week, and I was like, wow, he's going to hit that group of people waiting to go into that bar. Yep, he's honking at them. Yep, he's an idiot. Like, it's just
Like in an actual vehicle?
a van driving right down the
man.
bike lane down 103rd Street. I'm like, oh my God, you are so stupid. So stupid.
Yeah. You can't help those people.
No. Anyway, Surveyor Brett says Moss Pit is blankety blank. Do not go there. If they don't have security, they're going to get sued probably so bad if something happens. Also, liquor laws. Best experience, especially if you have young kids, is the away game watch parties inside Rogers. Still cheap to get in, was super fun, not overcrowded, just like going to a game. Sharpie says, Tommy, I agree 100%. I'm downtown every day, and the number of people using those lanes is insignificant. And when I say insignificant, I mean I rarely see anyone in one. And Grummy, I am all for alternative methods of transportation, especially in high density areas. I like that the LRT is expanding so it reaches all corners of the city. That's fantastic. But it's just, yeah, like in some places, you're like, why is there a bike lane here? And why is it cleaned out, and then we're like slipping and sliding on the road. Anyway,
Yeah, it has to be to move traffic in the city. We have to move forward with a balanced approach.
Yeah.
If you're focusing on getting 5,000 cyclists to their jobs and not worrying about 50,000 cars. And I'm not saying the city's not,
Yeah.
but like it does, like you say, have to be a balance because we do have to. And the time to invest in these types of things is usually now. It's only going to get more expensive as we go. And you look at some of the European cities where traffic's a nightmare. They already actually have a large bike lane network that they invested in early, and it's still, they may not have our winters. That's the big difference. But
good point.
I think that's probably the biggest stumbling block for blockheads like me to get around is that we live in a area of the world where 4 months of the year, I would say bike lanes are 100% usable and necessary and practical. It's the winter side that is like, okay, it's winter, but they're still there. So it's hard to, I guess it's hard to justify that in a climate where we are, where, this is not San Francisco or somewhere tropical. This is where we are. It's Edmonton.
I think it is hard to justify, and it's too bad that we can't actually develop a system where we basically use a certain, like a lane, have a bike lane for basically like 4 months, and then for the other 8, it's a roadway.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like
They tried that. What hill's that to go down to like Victoria Park, River Valley Road? Maybe that's the road.
it
Victoria-
happened during COVID where they did like a
They
little
took the
shared use.
that was
part.
brutal. That was
Yeah, and then
brutal.
it becomes one lane on the other side.
Yeah, I hated that.
You didn't go for a lot of walks there.
I did not. And listen, I like that the runners use the stairs are there. It's a great like hill to utilize if you're active and all that. But like when they put it down to one lane each way, I was like, this is so stupid. Anyway, I digress.
There's room to run there. There's some room to run.
Yeah.
I
But
don't
it was
like running,
social
though.
distancing.
3K, I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
5K is my number.
5K?
5K?
I like a good 5K.
5's nice.
I either going longer. Like I think I could get to 6, 7. Then I just get bored,
Yeah.
and it's just like I've listened to enough music or whatever, and I'm good.
A buddy of mine's
I'm
training
done.
for the Vancouver Marathon, and like I don't know how he's a big guy, and he's just been determined for the past. I think he signed up maybe 6 months ago, and he just posts on Instagram the other day like hit 29K today, just on
Holy
just on
smokes.
like a Tuesday, 29, almost
little
you know
ride.
building up, right? Building up, it's all
Wow.
about building up.
If I ran 5K, that would be that'd be
My
good.
knee would be blown
3K,
up
I
for
think,
a
is
week.
good.
3?
Do you run 5K regularly?
I'm trying to get back into it. I used to do it about 3-4 times a week.
Really?
I want to get under 20-minute 5K once.
You
in my
do
life.
have the build of a distance runner.
My best was 21:50, I think.
For 5K?
Yeah.
Holy
So
smokes.
that's
That's a
pretty
good
good.
pace.
Yeah, I want to get. You have to get it. You have to get under 4 to break 20.
Is that like a standard?
I want to do
for-
it once in my life. I want to just once be able to say I did a sub 20.
Is that like a
5K.
standard for runners for a 5K?
I
Or
have
like
no
4
idea.
minute 4 minute K?
No, I don't think so.
That's pretty fast.
I think you're looking at like closer to 28, 30 minutes for a 5K.
Did you
the
see
average person.
Zdeno Chara ran the Boston Marathon?
I did.
really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good for
Stuck
him.
out like a sore thumb. This big guy. I think his time was actually okay too. Like
Yeah.
it was
Yeah,
manageable. It was
very
middle of the pack.
respectable. Yeah.
Coming up next, we're done here almost. We've got 3 minutes till Lock Shop. Lock Shop, Huss. I don't remember who's on from Coolbeck.
P.
Canada. It's not-
Greggy.
No, I don't think it is.
Ah, I
I
like
don't think
P.
it's him or
Greggy.
Jake. It's someone new from Coolbeck, Canada. Even Dusty doesn't know this person. I don't think so.
right.
That's coming up. Lock Shop, next chance to qualify for EST Flyaway. Then me and Tommy are back with the oil stream. A reminder: the GCL Diesel oil stream pre and post game shows, which will begin on Monday for the playoffs. Tommy's at Hudson's, the first one. Hudson's West Edmonton Mall. We got Hello Hockey tomorrow at 10 o'clock.
Yep.
And yeah, Alley Cat is the official beer of the Great Outdoors Comedy Festival. GreatOutdoorsComedyFestival.com for more information and tickets. It's July 12th through the 14th. And keep it locked to EST as we'll have some VIP reserved tables to give away over the next few months. Dan, thanks for coming in. It was great having you here. And maybe we could have you on sometime during the
Yeah.
playoffs. If possible, if the
awesome,
others do advance.
Can't wait to bike to the Moss Pit for game 1.
We've got some birdie juice to taste right away here. Thanks for tuning in to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw on behalf of Tommy, Jay, Dan, I'm Matt. Lock Shop starting in just a few minutes right here on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Let's go. There you go. Right in front of the camera.
First time guest, long time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Gazzola with here. Joining us today